Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Egg in a Bottle. This is our little podcast that we do on a weekly basis. Or we used to, back before a month went by, and you didn't hear a word from any of us, which I'm sure you are very happy about. And that's fine.
That's okay.
Because the communications department doesn't even want to give us airtime anymore. I've gotten quite a nastygram from Professor Ellison about our behavior in the past in this room. Not so much Hannah, who's joining with us today, but Hannah's here today. Georgia couldn't be here because work, I assume, and we're gonna get her back in here. We're gonna get her back in here
eventually,
because
days.
I mean, she's an original egg. She's one of the three
eggs.
eggs.
Correct.
I know there's no
descriptors.
There's
on
no
the
way
eggs?
to
No.
there's no way to differentiate any of the eggs, but she's one of them.
We know she's there.
Yeah, me and Mark. I can tell you the two we are.
Yeah.
it's all in the eyes, in the shape of the
Egg.
yolk. Okay, well, I just wanted to get the elephant out of the room. We have indeed been silent for a month, and that's for a multitude of reasons. And
None of them are our fault, to be fair.
Everything's our fault.
No. Campus was closed. We couldn't do
campus
much.
was indeed closed, and if we had worked a little bit harder, we could have found a way to at least have one over Christmas break.
I mean,
maybe pre-record one.
I was looking to buy like my own little podcast set.
Yep.
When the Christmas money came, I was like, damn, these
video games.
Yeah, these PlayStation sales are pretty baller.
I
so.
agree. I'm in the same exact boat.
Yeah.
I've got a neat. I believe it's the same set that we talked about. It's in my little wish list.
Same.
And I'm thinking about. I think I'm just gonna have to do it.
It comes with like a soundboard, 2 mics.
Yes.
I think we have the same set.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if we get 2 of those, then we got 4 mics and 2
soundboards
and 18 chords.
Oh my god. All the chords.
But yeah, so basically when we had we didn't schedule it properly. So episode 10, it was around the time that finals were starting, I think. Is that about right? Well, no, it's probably around Thanksgiving break.
Because it was the week before my birthday, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
So when was that again?
So before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And then,
I went to your party.
Because we were planning to do one at your birthday or like before, just sometime that day. We never got around to it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a crazy day.
It was a very interesting day. There was some business going on that
kind of derailed the whole situation.
Yeah, kind of kept us all at the bottom of the hill,
literally,
so to
far
speak.
away from
the parking
the house
lot,
as possible.
the garage.
But yeah, it was. We had all these grand master plans to record us watching the. Is Doc B gonna come in? Okay. We had these grand master plans of recording the Notre Dame. I don't know who they were playing.
Yes, they were playing. USC. No, it was USC.
Yeah,
it
was
USC. It was
Did you
USC.
watch them get crushed by Clemson?
I did.
Yes. I was visiting family, and I actually got super sick over Christmas break, and for the game, I didn't have a voice.
The one game that she makes me watch is the one they get demolished in.
It was sad.
It was so sad, and I couldn't even
30-3 was
was
the
so
final
bad.
score.
But we did play a lot better than Alabama did against Clemson.
Oh
So
yeah. Alabama got creamed,
yeah.
which makes me
I was very happy.
cream.
God, I don't.
It really does something
We're
to
off
me.
to a great start.
It does something to me.
It does something to you.
But yeah, so
Actually.
that was what happened, and then after that, it was Thanksgiving break, so campus was closed, and then after that, it was like 2 weeks of preparing for exams, then exams, and then it was closed for the semester.
Very bold of you to assume I prepare for exams.
Well, I'm just assuming the best of you.
You shouldn't ever.
Which I will never do again.
Thank you. Good.
I know Hannah studied, I'm sure. But
I
what's your
did.
major anyway?
I am an art major.
For real?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Like what art?
Specifically photography.
Okay, I didn't see. How did I not know this? This is like one
Because
of
you
the.
never asked before.
I know, but it's like it seems like one of the first things I would ask.
Yeah.
I actually am considering going in that department, not photography, but animation and stuff like that. That's what I'm thinking about.
That is
But
cool.
I don't know though. I had a meeting with the animation guy, and it seems cool, but I don't know. I might stick with this. I don't know. Mark,
I
I don't
make
know.
movies.
No, and that's another route I've thought about, documentary making, which is more journalism, which is kind of what I went to college for anyway. But so then the semester closed down. The campus closed down at the end of the semester, and we just didn't. We just couldn't get in here to record anything, so we just let it sit. We just let the boat sink.
It wasn't a good feeling. I felt so shitty about just not doing anything.
Yeah, it was very bad, and I mean, in my opinion, I think it was good to have that break because I got a lot of perspective in that time. In that, if we want this thing to be any good, we need to put a little bit more of that big dick energy into it.
Yeah, I did a lot of acid over breaks. I got a lot of fresh new
Did you really?
points. No. He was like, Mark, you don't, please don't.
Well, I don't know, shit.
That's
and
fair.
then there was also the situation of a couple episodes ago. I'm sure you guys heard. I don't know if we cut it. We probably didn't.
I didn't cut it.
Mark's
no,
dumbass
it's in there.
brought
It's in there.
Subway
Oh.
into the studio, and the leader of the department, Doc V, which is his big.
I think we stopped recording during that.
I don't know. No, I think we continued because he was like, okay, carry on.
I cut that. I definitely cut us getting yelled at.
Yeah, because he's this big, scary man who runs the radio station, and Mark had a fucking meal in here.
Granted, and nobody stopped me, which
No,
means
well-
no one else knew the rules.
Right, nobody was in here to
Yeah,
stop
but I
you.
take partial credit, most credit.
Well, we were dumbasses. We
Yeah,
should have
what
done
was
that.
it like episode 6?
I don't remember, but it was stupid, and
Yeah.
it blew back on me a little bit. Not that I'm blaming you or anything,
He's
but
definitely blaming me.
but no, because I mean, I Ellison wasn't even gonna mention it until I like asked him Wednesday, like, can we record in here on Thursday? And he was like, I don't know, like if it's empty, yeah. And I was like, all right, cool, bet. And then and then he was like, yeah, by the way, like you guys almost got kicked out because Mark brought fucking food in. And I was like, and he was like, you're kind of the face of this, so it like reflects poorly on you. And I was like, okay, all right. I didn't realize we trademarked the freaking egg in a bottle, and I'm like Jeff Bezos sitting over here. So, all right, nice. But yeah, that's the story there. If you're not satisfied with our
I have something to add,
excuse?
actually, which is kind of lame. Kyle, I
Please.
know that I sent it to you, but during our little break, I recorded this video on my iPhone about like what was happening. And
Did
why
you
we
ever put
haven't
that
put-
up?
No, that's what I was about to say. I recorded like a 2-minute long video talking about the same stuff Kyle talked about, and I just never got to putting it up like on the
I
channel.
was wondering about that.
So it just never happened.
Yeah, it would have been nice, but I mean,
to have something to break to let people know. I got too
Nobody's
lazy and I
listening.
didn't want to edit it. I didn't want to do
nobody's
anything.
fucking listening. I'm just saying. Where that's another thing. We want to try to get this stuff onto. Well, me and Mark have talked about it. This is news to Hannah, and we want to like put this up on iTunes and things like that.
Spotify, whatever we can
Podbean,
work.
Spod
Bean.
Podbean. Yeah, but that's what we want to do because it's just a little bit. I think we're gonna get more traffic that way than through YouTube because there's just so much on YouTube, and it just I don't know. I would like for it to. Hello, I'm sorry.
Dude. Lack of professionalism. Are you kidding
I'm
me
sorry.
right now?
I'm sorry.
Jeff Bezos, my ass.
I'm sorry. This is my brother.
God.
He's texting me something. I'm surprised he hasn't asked me about this weeks ago. But anyway, so
Anyway,
why is my fucking shoes dirty?
here we go.
What
This
the
is-
fuck?
This is the spiral. I've been waiting.
I'm gonna keep these down in case someone walks in. And be like, hey, you got dirty ass shoes.
Get
Get
you
out."
at the fucking counter.
Counter.
Well, I didn't even have them on the. I just had my leg crossed over my other leg.
Close
Anyway,
enough, motherfucker.
Sorry.
all right. Well, I hope you're satisfied with our excuses. I'm gonna kind of hem this podcast down and like take out some of the bullshit. Like if there's like that dead air on my phone, I'm probably gonna edit that out just because I feel like 2.5 hours with 30 minutes of crap in it is. I feel like we can take that out.
Deafening silence.
Yeah, I want an hour and a half of glory, not 2.5 of shit.
That's fair.
But we're getting there, and I'm really excited to do this episode. And to begin this episode, we're gonna be talking about The Punisher season 2, which is out tomorrow.
Tomorrow. I
W-
didn't know that. I
Of
totally
the day we're
forgot.
recording it, anyway.
That being January 17th, Thursday.
Yeah, so it'll be out on January 18th, season 2, perhaps the last season of The Punisher, because they're doing a
Oh God.
mass cleansing of the Netflix Marvel television series. Daredevil's already
Gone.
canceled.
Jessica Jones
Isn't
actually.
it's
'cause
still
their
up.
second season is
Yeah.
No.
Well, they had a second season,
that
but it
I
was
didn't watch
bad.
because it
Yeah,
wasn't good.
Yeah, I heard it was really bad.
Mhm.
But Luke Cage got canceled too.
What's the fourth one?
Iron Fist.
Yeah, I was like Glowy Fist Boy. That really upsets me. I know I've talked about this a lot, but I really liked Iron Fist season 2. Really a pickup from season 1, which was complete dog shit.
I didn't even know they made a season 2.
That's the one with the Jamaican guy. We've talked about this before.
Did we?
No, that's Luke Cage. Sorry.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Iron Fist got a season 2. I didn't think it got that far. Like
Yeah,
did it?
Yeah, it has a season 2. That's significantly better than season 1.
I don't know. I just the whole Iron Fist got Iron Fist.
Yes. Fist of
Sworn
Iron.
enemy of
Sworn
the
enemy of the hand.
of the hand. Master of
The
Kung
Defenders was
Lao or
dog
whatever.
shit.
Yeah,
It's-
the Defenders was garbage.
It's Kung Lan. Isn't Kung Lao a
Kung Lun.
Kung Lao was from another game we're going to talk about in a second, actually. It's the one I told you to watch. It's Mortal Kombat.
It's the new Mortal Kombat. That's what we're gonna talk about. Okay, but we're not done talking about Punisher. You know what we also didn't do?
What's that?
We didn't put together that Transformers scene that we were gonna act
I
out.
mean, it's not. It's like 4 lines. I can just send it to you right now. Like it's not a lot of.
You know what?
dialogue.
I'll tell you what. We're gonna
sit on it. We're gonna sit
yeah,
on
we're
it.
we're gonna punt it to next
We're
week.
gonna punt it next week. Okay,
Punt it.
punt. You have the
My
old.
my boy, my favorite podcaster, Colin Moriarty, says that a lot.
Really, we're gonna
so-
punt it next week.
We're gonna. It's going to
I
next
didn't-
week.
I didn't like that.
You see it going to next week?
Yeah, it's over there.
Bye. Okay, so yeah, Punisher season 2. Do you guys watch? Do you like the Punisher? Did you? Like
I thought the first season was really good.
I did too.
I liked it a lot.
Hannah.
I
Didn't watch
haven't
it?
seen
Oh, you didn't watch
no.
it?
Mm-mm.
It's very enjoyable. It's very violent,
Holy yeah, it is.
especially towards the end. It gets real violent, and it's not as much action in it as I assumed there would be for something called the Punisher. It's
He
a very
doesn't
slow
start
burn,
punishing to the last maybe 2 episodes.
right? Although there is in the first episode, it's like a 5-minute montage of him punishing quite a few people,
Oh,
but
yeah.
you don't get to see any of it, which really upset me because I was like, that's kind of what I wanted the show to be, is him punishing,
Punishing
you know?
people, yeah.
But I understand that they, they had a story they wanted to tell, and I
Plus,
respect
they have a
it.
budget and all that. It
Yeah,
can't
and
be
I'm
all episodes of him just like gunning everybody
Right.
down.
Yeah, and I understand that, and it was good for what we got. I'm not arguing like what we got was really good, but it wasn't as good as Daredevil season 3. I don't think.
I still like season 2 better.
Of really
Yeah,
because of the Punisher.
because of everything that happened in that season.
right. I
I
didn't,
like the end bit of Daredevil season 3 a lot, but
Yeah,
I
it was
think
awesome.
the first is kind of like it's okay.
my issue with season 2 of Daredevil, and we're getting off on Daredevil, but that's
It's
fine.
fine.
My issue with season 2 of Daredevil was all the hand ninja stuff.
I think it's crazy. Yeah,
I wasn't feeling that. Like I liked Fisk and I liked Frank Castle in the first 4 episodes. That's kind of what I enjoyed about that's what Daredevil was to me, and that's why I enjoyed season 1 so much. And the first half of season 2, and then the second half of season 2, I was kind of like, eh. But then season 3 brought it all back to what I enjoy.
because this Netflix Daredevil, was a lot more grounded than what like the comic book Daredevil is.
Yeah.
So you can't just throw in like a group of like just these
Immortal ninjas.
Yeah, these immortal ninjas, and expect us to be like, oh, this is fine. This makes sense. Yeah.
Fights were cool.
Yeah.
The fights were really cool, but I mean, like I'd rather watch,
Him beat a fat mob boss to death.
yeah,
fight
with
ninjas
ropes
on a
on his
rooftop.
hands. Yeah, I mean,
God.
course,
And then just scream at him.
yeah, like
That's
that.
so wicked.
As much as I love season 3, it's the same issue I had with A Quiet Place when
Mhm.
John Krasinski screams towards the end of that movie. I just died laughing. I thought it was so
Yeah.
funny. He was like, "Ah."
It's like the end of the first Predator movie where he's like, "I'm here, kill me, do it now." It's like that, but on a smaller, less impressive
yeah.
scale.
There's a whole lot less testosterone
Yeah.
in his
Yeah.
scream. But anyway, speaking of glistening muscles, tell me about Mortal Kombat 11.
That's good. That's a good. I like that a lot, man.
Thanks.
Okay.
The best segues are ones you don't even mention. So
what the fuck?
so don't mention it next time.
Oh, don't. What's it when you put the lantern? Whatever. Okay, so Mortal Kombat 11, they have a game. They're having their reveal event today. It's happening right now. Actually,
speak.
as we speak, 2:50 p.m. on Thursday. So, before we came here, actually like an hour before, they released trailers for story mode, like a story trailer, a combat trailer, and like some information about like gameplay and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So it looks like it's going to be more like the Injustice 2 game, if you've played that.
I haven't, but I played Injustice 1.
In terms of you get to like gear up your fighter, like it's not just like, hey, you pick the guy and you play with him as it is. Like,
Yeah.
you get to customize him in terms of how he looks, like his stats.
Uh-huh.
And I think we could even customize like move sets.
Oh, that's
Like if
cool.
you wanted to fight differently.
Make it even more fucking
yeah,
complicated
so
for
your
me.
so your Scorpion will fight different than mine, you know?
Yeah.
I like it
Well,
a lot.
scorpions are quite different.
Scorpions are very quite
Yeah.
different in terms of stinger and
Yeah,
mandibles.
yeah. Some stingers are larger than other
Correct.
stingers. Some mandibles are different colors.
Absolutely. But looks like I watched the story trailer thing. It looks like there's going to be a lot of time fuckery in this game.
That makes sense.
I mean, I didn't know about this for a while, but as I was watching the stream waiting for the event to happen, they did like a rundown of the history of all the games. There's a lot of time travel shit in it. I didn't know.
Yeah.
It's mostly time travel
I mean, it
shit.
makes sense when literally like your
Every
whole
character dies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your whole game is based around brutally murdering
Death.
all of your characters. Like, how do you tell a story if they're all
Mhm.
getting brutally murdered?
So, turns out in Mortal Kombat 9, Raiden goes back in time, creates an alternate timeline, which we play in 10,
right?
and 11 might be like the Into the Spider-Verse of this game series. Like, it's just like different versions of all characters fighting
Coming together.
Yeah.
Which gives a good lore reason as to why all these players have different, looking scorpions
Exactly,
with different
yeah,
move
uh-huh,
sets and
mhm.
stuff. It's just a different
Just a
universe.
different version of Scorpion. Yeah, yeah.
I like that.
It's pretty sick.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's a good little
And it looks
workaround.
It looks so smooth.
It
Everything
does.
looks so great.
I will say when I watched because I only watched the gameplay trailer. That's all I
That's fair.
fucked with.
Yeah.
The punching and stuff looked, and like the combos, it looked a little slow.
It did look slower
It-
than like other games.
Yeah,
It
and
looks, I don't want to use the word clunky.
No, because it's not clunky.
It's
It
very
just-
smooth looking, but
it looked more like Injustice in that it seemed like almost like stop motiony the way they were moving.
But the
So,
hits
like,
feel harder.
yeah, which I mean, I'm sure that's the
I'm
trade-off.
fine with, yeah.
And I'm not a big fighting game fan, so I can't really speak with any authority on that. But just from looking at it, it looked like, there looked like it was a little, again, not clunky, but like almost like stop motiony, slow, sort of more deliberate, I guess. And I don't know if that's just because I don't have an eye for this sort of thing or what, but the game is brutal from what I have seen.
I'm watching the fatality montage right now, and it's so brutal. This game is known for being like disgustingly just like gory,
Comically gory.
comically
yeah.
gory, but this is insane.
Yeah, like I saw the Blood Witch or whatever. She like lifted the blood out of his face and made like the little
Like
spikes.
blood swords, dude.
Yeah.
This is so wicked.
and dropped
I was
them.
watching, and Hannah was sitting in a chair in front of me, so she was seeing it upside down. She's like, "I think this is worse from my perspective."
Probably.
Okay, this guy takes Scorpion's face in his hand, like his head, but just tears off the face. So just the skin off of his fucking face.
As
It's
you do.
So brutal.
As you do.
God.
You know, when Mortal Kombat 9 came out, that was like the most bloody game I've ever played. Like
yeah.
at the time.
That game is more over the top than 10 is, because 10 was more like a real take.
Oh,
9 was
really?
just like, we're just throw everything against the fucking wall. Like, who cares?
Yeah, like one of my favorites was a Noob Saibot. He'd like make two of himself and like split you like a
Yep.
turkey wishbone.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's the stuff you have to look forward to.
It looks like Scorpion has this one where he throws his spear thing
Yep.
at you, and it's hot, and he jumps over you, so it's going like across your
I saw
head,
that one.
and he goes to like a hell dimension, comes out the other end, and pulls, and it cuts you down the middle. It's so sick.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I saw that one in the gameplay trailer.
I'm a huge fighting game fan. I'm gonna buy the shit
Are you really?
out of this game. Yeah,
I didn't know if you gave a shit about it
I
at
give
all.
a shit about fighting games.
I mean, clearly you do.
I
but
played X, which was 10, the last one. I played Injustice 1 and 2. I didn't play 9 because it wasn't my time. It was like, I don't know, 13, 14.
Mhm.
I couldn't buy games like that yet.
You couldn't ask your parents to buy them for you?
I didn't want to play it. It looked too like complicated, because fighting games are a real like hurdle to cross. Like, it's a real skill gap. Like, you have to get there first before you can start enjoying them.
Yeah.
And I wasn't there yet.
Yeah, no, I'm not either. I haven't made that jump yet because I don't want to commit.
I can't play like Tekken or like Street Fighter. Those games are fucking insane.
Yeah,
They're too much.
they're very, very
'Cause
intense.
Because if you go on like the move list, it's not like A, B. It's like an icon.
Wiggle
for,
the stick.
No, it's like
Tap your
It's
head.
like the icon for like, oh, strong hit, low, and like I don't know what those buttons mean. Tell me the button.
Yeah,
It's so confusing. Don't
it is
like
very confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Street Fighter. Didn't Street Fighter release one recently?
Yes.
I want to say
Like
it was
last
like
year.
it looked like really cartoony
Street Fighter
and
5.
stuff.
I think it's 5.
Yeah, that's what
5.
it is. There's
was
some
like
like
last year.
controversy
I
surrounding
bought
that,
it because
I'm
it was like
sure.
$3 and I haven't touched it yet.
Really? I've never been a fighting game fan. I just I don't know.
They're fun. If you can get like just the slightest bit of skill and get the hang of it, they're really fun.
I bet it's just like I mean I wasn't even good at Smash.
I haven't played it.
Smash
I
Bros.
haven't played Smash ever.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you'd freaking love it. I think.
I probably would.
I assume you would. I mean, it's definitely. It was never deep. Like it didn't have the deep move sets that I'm sure you're used to. Unless I'm talking out my ass.
I don't think
know.
it does. No, I don't think it.
The last one I
does.
played was on the Wii, which I think was Brawl. I think Smash
Maybe.
Bros. Brawl, because Melee was on the GameCube. I want to say.
Hell yeah.
And
I want to switch just for the new Smash.
I do too. I want to switch for
Ultimate? Yep.
Metroid Prime 4, which is coming out.
There's a Marvel game, Ultimate Alliance 3,
Yeah.
only for Switch. What the hell is that about?
What?
That's so upsetting.
Did you ever play Marvel vs. Capcom?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
remember
played
those games.
the Infinite one, the newest one that came out.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Dre, who was on the
Yeah.
show? We used to play that like all night for like weeks.
Yeah, I mean,
He's better at me. He's really good, but I still play.
I played the ones that came out on 360, like when I was like 11, because I had a
Mhm.
friend who had these games, and like I never bought them because again I don't like fighting games, but yeah, like that's like the end of my
Mhm.
understanding. That's not true. I bought 10 and played it for an hour. I bought it new. I bought it brand new.
Nice.
I bought it the day it came out. I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try these fighting games out. Went home, put it in, played like the tutorial maybe. Got through like an hour of it. I was like, no. And I took it back, and I was like, hey, can I get my money back? And like they were like, oh, we're going to give you like $30. And I was like, this fucking sucks. And then
This came out less than 24 hours ago.
Yeah.
Help me.
And luckily the manager Jeff was there, who manager Jeff, good friend, unfortunately passed away a little while ago, but
Oh.
pretty good friend. Whenever I went there, he was very personable, very nice guy, and he was like, okay, yeah, you can have your $60 back.
Nice.
But I'll only do this once. And I was like, well, good, because I'm not gonna make this mistake again.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make-
I did
just-
something really stupid with the fighting game. So Injustice 2 came out, 2 years ago, maybe 1.
Yeah, something like that.
I spent $100 on the gold version of that
Oh,
game.
no.
I pre-ordered. It's the first time I've ever pre-ordered a game before, like ever.
Wow.
I'm like, I want to play the fuck out of this game. So I pre-ordered it. I got Darkseid was the pre-order guy. The Darkseid, the character you got with
Mhm.
pre-ordering it, and then the season pass, which all the characters after is like Red Hood, Black Manta, the Turtles even. Like you could play as all 4 Turtles, which was wicked.
That's cool.
Yeah, Enchantress. I forget. I think that may be it. Yeah, but I got all that and I loved it for a bit. I played up
Black
until
Manta would be interesting.
Black Manta's really fun to
He
play
looks
as.
cool
He's
as
cool
hell.
to play as. Go watch some like footage of him. He's really cool. Anyway, I got to Red Hood. I'm like, this game is pretty good. I got bored, and I just stopped playing. So like $100 went down the drain, and that was
How
on
long
my-
did you play?
I mean, Red Hood would have came out maybe 6 months into the span of that game, maybe.
Oh, so you got your money's
I
worth.
got my money's worth,
In
but
a way.
it was on my Xbox, which I sold, so I'll never have that game again.
Ah.
In the access that I had,
Do you still have it?
I sold my Xbox.
Well, I know, but like, do you still have the game?
I bought a digital copy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. See, now I understand.
Here's the conundrum.
Here's the kicker here.
Yeah.
No, it's like when PT came out
Mm-hmm.
and it was the little demo. Like they announced it at E3. They were like, PT, go play it now. I like got off the stream and like went there and downloaded it onto my PS4. And then it got canned like a month later or whatever it was when Kojima left Konami.
Mm-hmm.
And I still had it on my Xbox, but they took it off the store.
Nice.
So, like, I feel like I have this rare,
Yeah.
like, relic with this, like, game on here. Like, I feel it's going to be worth a lot of money one day.
Yeah.
I don't know if I
That
still have it. I
file?
might have deleted it.
Damn it.
I might have deleted to make room for, like, Red Dead 2 or something.
It'll be in like your purchase though, right?
Yeah, that's...
So it'll still be there.
yeah, so I'm assuming I could, like,
You
re-download
still got that
it.
gem, yeah.
Yeah. So, I got to high priority PlayStation 4
Absolutely.
when the apocalypse happens. But so Mortal Kombat 11 is coming out April 23rd of this year.
That's really close.
Yeah, it's a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Another game's coming out that I want to play, Resident Evil 2 Remake,
Yep.
coming out 25th, like next Friday, I think.
Oh, wow.
I want to check that out because I never played Resident Evil 2. I played Resident Evil 4 back in the day, never beat it because it was hard and I wasn't good at games. I'm still not.
That's fair.
But and it had those like tank controls and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And it was a scary game, but never beat it. But I want to try that out. And I think Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is coming out in like March, which is like a From Software game. So Dark Souls, Bloodborne, things like that. But that's all I know. Metro Exodus is coming out soon too. I don't know if you
It's
care
not my
about that.
type of game.
First person shooter?
Yeah.
No, it's not for
First-person
everybody.
shooters aren't that good.
I mean, you're wrong, but it's not for everybody.
No.
Here's the thing, Metro, I love Metro.
Yeah.
They're really great games. And I've never read the books, but they're
books?
yeah, they're based off a Russian
Oh, really?
novel
That's
series.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like apocalypse happens and they're
It's
like
weird that they didn't go straight to movie. Like, 'cause most times a book gets brought to a movie.
right.
You're
Yeah,
like, oh, no, straight, let's fuck it, game.
yeah, and it's like The Witcher did the same thing. Is like it's based off.
Witches
a
are books, too?
Yes, sir.
What?
They're made by a Polish author. They're
That's
like
wicked.
the guy who wrote them is often considered the Polish Tolkien.
That's so sick.
And I've actually read one of the books, and they're pretty good.
Are they really?
Yeah, like the first.
What are they called? Are they called?
Well, they're
The
different
Witcher or-
names. Like it's the Witcher series,
Okay.
the Witcher saga. But like the first book is called The Last Wish, which is just a bunch of short stories with Geralt in them.
Cool.
And then Sword of Destiny is the next one, which is another collection of.
That's a baller name for
Yeah.
a book.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's again, it's another collection of short stories,
Mhm.
and then it actually starts the story proper,
Cool.
which is Blood of Elves, and like there's some other. I think one of them's called Lady of the Lake or something like that. Is like the last book in the series.
I remember that name. I killed a monster named that because I played.
Did you play The Witcher 3?
Mm-hmm.
Did you beat it?
No.
Yeah, I was
Nowhere
about to
close.
say.
Nowhere close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of references to the books
Nice.
in the game, obviously, but and they're actually the Netflix series that they're making is based off the books, from what I understand.
And not the game.
Not the games.
Okay.
Which is kind of unfortunate because the author's real curmudgeon-y about the games because he made like this bad deal with CD Projekt Red because he didn't think the games were going to sell, so he took like a flat rate of like
Oh.
however much instead
Uh-huh.
of I want royalties.
Mm-hmm.
So he's making a hell of a lot less money than these games are worth.
That's his fault.
So he's
He
bit-
shouldn't
yeah,
have-
but
he
he-
shouldn't have fucked it.
And he's bitter about it because he didn't believe in the video gaming medium.
Sounds like his fault.
Yeah.
What an old fuckhead.
Come on, you old man.
Bastard.
I'm waiting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now he's intimately involved with the
Netflix series
yeah,
starring Henry Cavill.
Henry
as
Cavill,
Geralt.
who is a
Yeah.
big fan.
Oh, I
of the
thought you were going to
series.
talk about a big man because we were actually talking about him before today and how massive he
He's
is.
a big boy.
He's huge.
He's a big boy.
Yeah.
I saw him standing next to Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible.
I mean,
I'm just
God.
like,
Tom Cruise, 5'4" man.
yeah, 4'3" Tom Cruise.
Jesus Christ. He's
Midget
a
Tom
small
Cruise.
boy.
He is a small man, but he's a cool man.
He's a cool dude.
I like that man.
He's pretty good.
I like those movies he puts
I
out.
like them, I like them things he does with his acting.
Yeah, I like that. But no, he's a massive fan of the books, which I wasn't crazy about the casting at first because I'm like, well, I mean, Doug Cockle, the guy who voices him, that's my Geralt, and he always will be.
Does he look like him too?
No,
Oh,
he's like
obviously.
this like small like bald like
Nice.
bald white man.
Hey
and-
man, we
and,
got
like,
wigs and.
well, I mean,
makeup.
yeah, and I mean, like, it's just his voice, and like you would look at him, and you're like, he does not look
Look
like
like
he should
that
be.
guy.
I'm actually gonna show you a picture. I want you to have a frame of reference for
Please
this
do. Show me.
because because
When we edit this, which we're gonna do, we can put a picture of it in there.
yeah, maybe we can.
We
That'd be a
can.
good idea.
Get some visual aids.
Hold on, I'm sorry.
When we talk about trailers and stuff, can we put footage in, or are we gonna get like copyright struck?
No, I think we better not.
I mean, it's fair use. We are
Well,
talking
I
about
mean,
it.
if we put it on YouTube,
It's fair use.
but yeah, but what I'm saying is like if we plan on putting this more on Spotify and iTunes and stuff like
That's
that,
fair, yeah,
so there's really no.
I mean, but
point.
there are podcasts that doesn't. What the hell? That's my. Is it Geralt or
Geralt, I've heard it pronounced
Geralt?
both ways.
Geralt?
This is who we're talking about, Hannah. But you have no frame of reference for the
Yep.
Witcher series,
No, I
so.
don't.
But this is
I'll
the guy.
show you what the main character looks like, and then I spelled it wrong.
Geralt.
Geralt.
I've heard it pronounced Geralt, which
Geralt?
it just pisses me
Geralt?
off because I'm like, are you kidding
Wrong.
me? This is not Hey
It's
Arnold.
this guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
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 No.
Yeah, but like he's such a great voice actor, and like he really does it. Like, I think his voice is quite iconic. Like, it's very like rough and tough, and very Clint Eastwoody. But
Okay, so I was playing through The Witcher. We're just going off, but I was playing through The Witcher, and I didn't realize how funny it is.
oh yeah, it's very
The
funny.
dialogue is really good. It's
hilarious.
It's really good.
There are quests in that game. Like, there's a quest in I think it's in Blood and Wine, the expansion. I
Mhm.
want to say, where you run into this sculptor. And he's like freaking out. And you're like, what's the problem? And he's like, someone stole the jewels. And you're like, okay, let me help you find the jewels. And like, you go on this like massive quest and you find these like stone circles, right? And you bring them back. And the sculpture he's working on is missing its balls.
Nice. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
it better be this statue's testicles.
Yeah, it's like I need you to
Oh,
find the jewels for me.
that's
and
so
like you go find this
awesome.
statue's balls and you you help him finish the sculpture.
Those are the best kind of like side quests, just dumb shit.
Yeah.
I love that, man.
And there's also another one in Blood and Wine where it's like a boring it's a boring quest where you're just like trying to interact with a bank and like access your money.
Yeah.
And like you're like waiting in line and like it's so funny and
It's
like
so good.
and like it doesn't go on too long.
Mhm.
Like he's crossing his arms and it's like really quiet because it's like that awkward like bank
Mhm.
atmosphere
Yeah.
and you just hear him like just tapping his foot, just waiting. And then, they're like, you get to the front of the line, and they're like, oh, we need you to go talk to this guy. And he's like, no, you actually have to talk to this guy. And, it's that whole, like, paper trail bullshit that,
Yeah.
everyone has to go through. But anyway, we're off track here. Mortal Kombat 11 comes out April 23rd, which is a quick turnaround, I think,
Mhm.
I guess. I don't know. I'm not exactly as versed on game releases as I once was.
I mean, given that our first footage is today, that's pretty quick that they're releasing it.
Yeah, within a couple months. I think a lot of developers have got. If Bethesda's done one thing right recently, it's been their like treatment of Fallout 4, which was announce it, release it like
Mhm.
4 months later.
Don't make us wait a year.
Yeah, which is very cool. But Bethesda's kind of fell off the fucking tanker recently. But
Good.
yeah, they need to adapt or die, man. Like the fact that they're still using that fucking wank ass fucking I don't know what that means. The freaking terrible ass engine.
And they're just like,
And they just
changing it
insist.
slightly and like, oh, this is fine. We don't have to make a new one. We're okay.
Yeah, it's like, come on, dude. Adapt or die. CD Projekt Red is eating your lunch. Anyway, so the bulk of the episode we want to spend on a little old movie I'm sure everyone has seen by now because it came out on Christmas. It's called Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. We have all actually seen this movie that we're about to talk about, which is
multiple times.
yeah, I've seen it twice.
I've seen it twice.
And how
I've
many-
only seen it once.
well, that's
Get
fine.
the fuck out.
I think honestly, I didn't want to see it the second time, but I only did because we don't have to get into that. I'll tell you off air. But
Oh, no.
Oh my
Gun to my
gosh.
head and balls.
yeah, I did. I didn't want to go, but I did, and movie was
Is that,
good.
is that the time that you win with me?
No, that was the first time.
Okay, I'm like, you son of a bitch.
No, the first time I saw it, I really wanted to see it,
Okay,
and I'm glad
sick.
I went. I went with you and Jackson.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, that's who. Okay. So anyway, we've all seen the movie. I want to introduce some like other elements that we don't normally talk about, which is monetary.
Hell yeah.
I want to talk about. I want to throw some digits at you. Okay. So, as of I got this all on Box Office Mojo,
Nice.
by
Good.
the way. And so as of January 15th, the domestic total for Spider-Verse is $149,635,115.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure I said that right, which only makes up 49.2% of. Oh, and to give this perspective, the movie had a budget of $90 million.
And it made, what, 149?
$149 million.
Okay, okay.
Wow.
So, and that only makes up 49.2% of the totals. The other that's domestic. Foreign, it made $154,600,000, which makes up 50.8% of its what's the word? Box office total.
Yes. Revenue.
Sure, let's go with that. And So for a total, it made worldwide $304,233,115. It made a shit ton of movie for an animated movie, and I think that's great.
Wait, hold.
Wait, what?
Shit ton of movie for an
What?
animated movie.
Sorry.
You're good.
It made a shit ton of money.
There it is.
It made a shit ton of money for an animated movie, which makes me real happy because I like animated movies quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's got a 97, and this is all as of today, recording this, January 17th. It could have gone down or up. It usually doesn't, but maybe it did. It had a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I think is insane, which I'm going to get into why I think that's way overrated. But it also had, because I think you guys like the movie a lot.
Son of a bitch.
I think you two like the movie a lot more than I did.
That's fair.
Because I liked it, but I think you guys loved it.
Yeah.
That was a good
So
movie.
I definitely loved it. Yeah.
but I think 97% on Rotten Tomatoes is a little freaking ridiculous.
Okay.
Personally, and it also had a 87% on Metacritic. A little ridiculous. Still.
87.
87%.
And that's high for you?
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
I think this movie's in a solid 75.
What?
80
We'll get into it.
area.
We'll get into it. Okay.
And it has an 8.7 on IMDb, which is fucking insane. I'm sorry, like you don't. Very few superhero movies are going to be in the 8 point anythings.
Yeah.
For me, in my opinion, I think this is definitely one of the better superhero movies I've seen in a very long time.
Like Iron Man 3. Yeah, one of the best superhero movies of all time.
You really like that movie?
I like it. I think it's fun.
I agree with you.
It furthers his character. It's a
Yeah.
fun story.
It's got the Shane Black guy, so he
Shane
introduces a
Black
kid
guy.
character for him to interact with, which is always fun.
I think it's good. Anyway.
So yeah, the writer and Mark, this is probably more relevant to you just because you're a little bit more in tune with this nerd culture stuff.
Howdy.
But one of the writers of the movie is Phil Lord,
Ooh, I know.
and one of the producers is Christopher Miller. And if you
Lord and Miller,
who were supposed
to direct Solo.
and they were kicked from the project, and they were quickly picked up for Spider-Verse.
They're the what did they direct recently? The Lego movie?
Lego movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, which are
cool.
fun.
Mhm.
They're good movies. For the most part. But
If you're for no, they're good. No, they're good. They're actually really good.
they're neat. I like the little stop motion animation
Mhm.
style.
Yeah,
so
that is really cool.
yeah, and I like Lego because
Yeah.
I'm a fucking child.
Oh no.
But anyway, so yeah, Rodney Rothman was also a writer for this movie. I didn't look up I looked up who directed. I didn't write it
Keep
down.
looking like off to the side. I'm like, what are you doing?
Who was?
You keep looking like
Well,
off to the.
I'm convinced that Doc V's gonna come in here and be mad about
and just
something.
start slapping you.
Yeah, and you guys have an advantage. Like my
Yeah,
back.
we can't. No,
He has the high
he
ground.
can't see us.
He has the
he
high
does
ground.
have the high ground, and he will
Indeed.
take advantage
And
of
he
it.
will use
And
it.
you.
Wow.
What?
Anyway, so that's all the rigmarole on the movie. All the information you need to know. If you guys want to go through, you want to talk about a little bit of what it's about first before we start, really dissecting it.
Hey Hannah, what did you think the story was?
Tell me what
okay.
you think it's about.
Well, it starts off with.
Let's just
oh
do
my
it
gosh, it's been a second since I've seen it. It doesn't
Brief
it start
overview.
out.
Brief
overview.
synopsis.
What is the
Okay, well-
plot?
Pretty much, of course, the bad guy is.
There's a
being,
spider
like-
in the boy. And
Of course, the bad guy is wanting to do something, and so he causes a big ripple effect, and a bunch of Spider-Men come from many different dimensions. and
Now,
it
who is
kind of-
this bad guy? Kingpin.
King? Oh yeah, he had a. I was like,
He-
that's weird.
He looks like a giant,
Like a
shadow.
cube?
Yes,
Yeah, he
and
looks
it's
like a giant
wonderfully
I
cool.
fucking love it.
I loved it
It's so
so
good.
His face was like in the middle of his freaking cubish
Yeah.
body.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
And he, of course, and then he's desperately trying to get back his family and blames Spider-Man for it, but he brings in, what was it? I think it was 6.
Let's count it out.
Five.
Spider Noir.
Spider Noir, Spider Gwen, Japanese Spider Mech, Spider Ham,
Spider Ham, Schlubby Spider Man.
Schlubby Spider Man. That's 5.
Okay, yeah.
Spider Man.
So
Plus
yeah.
Miles. So,
So
6.
technically 6.
But that's his own dimension. so we
Miles
can
was
open it.
already there, yeah.
So 5.
I'm with you.
Well, 6 in total.
What?
That's kind of what I
and
was
they,
thinking.
and so then they have to figure out
how to get everyone
How to
home.
get everybody back.
Wait. Did you call him the Schlubby Spider-Man?
I did.
That's good.
Schlubby Peter.
Schlub man.
Yeah, and he's my favorite one. But
Yes.
he was such a schlub, and
He's
I
such a
loved it.
schlub.
But we'll get into it anyway. So yeah, that's a pretty good synopsis of the movie, I think. Open
I
rift.
job, Hannah.
guess. I guess.
Good job, Hannah.
Thank
See,
you.
it's like rift plus
Open
open
plus hole
plus hole
plus
equals
spider genes equals
spiders everywhere
plural
equals
get the broom.
get the broom,
That's what we kill spiders with.
get the birds,
Get the octopus in some scenarios.
and then put it all into a
A
thing.
blender. You put it into a blender.
Yeah,
And you throw it into Stanley's hands and just let him do his thing.
yeah, and you say,
Wow.
"Get these boys home. They're gonna be
You
fathers.
give it a tussle.
You're gonna be a daddy. Okay, we need to get you home.
We need to get you home.
All right."
Oh.
Okay.
This movie sounds like Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, no. I'm gonna
Okay.
Get you home, Peters.
I gotta get you. You're gonna be a daddy. You're gonna be a daddy, Peters.
I done been shot,
I done been shot, Daddy. Here's the
sad,
thing.
more than
Here's the
anything.
thing.
What's up?
When we do the Transformers scene that we're gonna do,
Yeah.
and we'll do this next week probably.
Mhm.
I want to do it like that,
Yeah.
like how we just did that. Like
Mhm.
I want you to like voice in Megatron, like so unwise. Like, you know what I mean?
never give you this all,
All
Spyar.
there. That's how we're gonna do it.
Okay.
I had a dream about this, and it really landed.
What?
It really
Whoa.
went in there, and it landed.
Was I there?
You were.
How much was I clothed?
You had peanut butter in manifest locations,
Oh my gosh.
in indescript
Oh
locations.
God.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. It was foggy. It was cloudy.
Speaking of riffs. Ugh.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, save
Oh,
us,
no.
Anna. Okay, so first thing I wanted to ask you guys about, and I know you guys have your own notes, but do you guys have questions? Like, did you guys write down questions or just thoughts? Oh, you wrote down questions?
No.
Okay. Well, I have the questions, so this will be a good I'll
Yep.
set the springboard, and you guys can jump from it.
All right,
Gang.
cool.
So, so I want to start it out. I want to talk about the different Spider-Man because that's obviously the gimmick with this one. What did you guys like? How many there were? Did you think there were too many? Or let's start there. Did you think
Okay.
there were too many?
I guess I'll go first. I thought there was a good amount. I thought because it's based off a comic book of almost the same name, and there's like an infinite number of different Spider
And they
people.
kind of imply that that's what's.
Yeah.
Spoilers throughout.
Oh shit! Yeah, spoilers for Into the Spider-Verse. Sorry, we
Yeah.
give a fuck about you.
Spoilers throughout from here on.
Yeah, so there's like a million Spider people, and
And they imply that in the
Mhm.
credits that that's what's happening.
I like the different versions because they could have easily. This is like like a British Spider-Man or Punk Spider-Man, which is just all basically just Spider-Man, but he looks like
Slightly different.
But this one, it's different for different reasons. You know, like Spider-Man, like Noir is from the 30s. There's the mech Spider-Man, which I think is pretty cool.
it's
There's
it's
Spider
neat.
Gwen. There's a pig spider. They went a very assorted. Like they didn't just pull names from like a hat. Like no, we need this. We need these very specific.
They
very
took the best of
different
the
Spider
litter.
People. Uh huh.
Yeah.
I dug it a lot.
What about you, Hannah?
Yeah, no. At first, when they all started, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be kind of a lot, and I'm not gonna like it." But I did really like it. I think that they picked the best ones, and for good reasons. They were all different in their own ways, and yeah, I did. I liked it a lot. I kind of didn't like. What is the Japanese one called?
I forget her name.
I don't
It's-
remember.
It's not Peter.
It was weird.
Is it Penny?
It's Penny Parker. It is.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, it is. It's Penny
Penny
Parker.
I didn't like it. It
I
was
liked her gimmick a lot. That she was bitten by the spider but got no powers, just like a psychic link to the spider.
A little itty bitty
spider
spider.
Yeah,
who's-
that
Who's
was
in
just,
a mech.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that
so
was
metal.
that was weird to me, but I really liked the assortment that they had.
I think that, and I kind of, when I was seeing this the second time, the person I was seeing it with, like, her reaction to it, like, made me think that this might be too much for certain people, because, like, every time they do okay, let's do this one more time, and you'd see the comic book slap on the
Yeah.
screen.
And you get a
and-
short
and-
little, yeah.
Yeah, and they go through the whole thing. Every time that would happen, she'd be like, oh my God, like, another one? I'm like, shit.
Yeah, but that's the gimmick. That's
yeah,
the point.
And that's the
they're
thing.
saying, hey, let's do it again, and we're like, we're
Yeah.
sorry, but we have to do this for people like you who don't know what
Right.
this is.
And I
Yeah.
think they handled it the best they could.
Mhm.
But my issue with it is that obviously if you're going to have 6 Spider-Men in a movie, some of them are going to get the short end of the stick. I thought Spider-Ham, Penny Parker, and Noir Spider-Man didn't get
They got the
near as
shaft.
much.
Noir got a little bit more though. I think Noir got
A little bit more, but the issue was like you could tell like who was going to get it, like the short end, because they all show up at the same time and they're like bop bop bop, like 3 comics at the same time. Let's do it right now.
Yeah. They're all the ones that don't get like their own intro scene. It's like
Yeah.
at the same time they're already here, gone.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we got 3 more. Here's all their stories right now.
Yeah.
Whereas Spider-Gwen, Schlubby Parker, and Miles all got, which, I mean, that's who they want to focus on, which is, I get it, but it makes me wonder, like, maybe they could have cut 2 of those
Don't
out.
you dare say
I'm just saying, like,
Penny Parker. You leave her alone.
I'm not saying cut out Penny Parker. I'm just saying, like, maybe.
I'm saying cut out Penny
You
Parker.
son of a bitch.
I don't know who they would cut, but, like, maybe.
Spider-Ham.
Maybe cut Spider-Ham.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Because I like John
I do
Mulaney
like
a
John
lot.
Mulaney a lot. I love that he got this role.
Yeah,
but
he did really
It'll fit
good.
in your pocket.
You got a problem with cartoons? Whack! I love that. That's
Yeah.
great.
I really liked Spider-Ham and Noir Spider-Man because Nick Cage gave one
Oh
of the
my
greatest.
gosh.
So great.
He gave one of the great performances of all time.
I love that because he's from like a black and white comic book. He can't see colors.
Yeah, he's like sitting there with the Rubik's.
Rubik's
He was
Cube
like
is like, this is purple, right?
Yeah.
He's like, no, it's not. No.
blue. And then the match burning scene
Oh
where
my
he's like,
gosh.
so
I like to
like-
burn match just so I can feel. It's like,
See,
Jesus
like that
Christ.
emotion.
yeah,
Oh.
They released that clip, and I think I sent it to you. It's like, sometimes I like to drink egg creams. I'm like, egg creams?
I like killing Nazis a lot.
So great.
Yeah,
my
so like
gosh.
as much as I enjoy those, like I feel like maybe it would have been better to have less, and I feel that about pretty much everything.
That's fair.
In entertainment. Less is a whole lot more for me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me, and that isn't to say what they did was bad, because like I think they clearly, according to most people, they really succeeded in what they were trying to do with the 6 Spider-Men, and yeah, I think you can take it either way, and I think it's you're not necessarily wrong. But that leads to my next inquiry, which was your favorite Spider-Man of the 6. You go first, Hannah.
Oh, you want
Mine?
her to go last. It's gonna be a while.
Okay, all right.
No, he just went first. My favorite. I was really looking forward to seeing this movie because I love Jake Johnson a
Okay.
lot.
All
Like,
right,
a lot,
he does a great
lot.
job.
Oh, and I loved his Spider-Man. Are we calling him
Schlubby Man?
Schlubby Man?
Schlubby Parker.
I
Because
call him
wasn't he like Peter
Sweatpants
B.
Parker, Peter B. Parker?
Peter
But
B. Parker?
see, my assumption was that all Spider-Men were Peter B. Parker, B after his uncle. I thought that.
That's what I
I
thought,
thought like
too.
across the
Okay.
board they were all Peter Ben Parker.
That's
I don't know.
okay. I
Whatever,
don't know.
whatever.
I think I don't really know. I don't know. That's actually one of my questions was like, how much does this like line up with the lore, which I was going to ask you about. But go ahead,
Weird.
keep going about Schlubby Parker.
It's Sweatpants Parker.
I did. I loved him a lot. I think he had the most. I wouldn't say the most character development because I think it was him and Miles kind of tied
It
with
was
that.
split.
But I did. I loved him a lot in it. A lot.
He was my favorite too. I think he had the most depth. I think because I've never seen a Spider-Man like him. And what really interested me about Schlubby Parker was that he would he's clearly a schlub, clearly a slob, he's fat,
He's not fat.
he's chubby.
It's the time warping. You leave him alone, okay?
Yeah, okay, yeah,
He's
yeah.
got his little pudge.
Yeah, he's got his little pudge, and what I loved about it was when he's in the suit, you can see how thin his arms are in comparison to
To
his
his
gut.
stomach?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I loved it.
Like his
Yeah.
legs were small too, but just
Yeah.
right here in the
He just
midsection
had his
was a
gut
problem.
hung over his sweatpants. Yeah.
But the
But-
thing was, he had his full costume on. He just wanted to put sweatpants over it.
Right.
He's
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
just a jackass
Yeah.
who wants to put sweatpants.
Yeah, and I mean, like, look, what I think I really enjoyed about it was that he was clearly different and like a schlub, but at the same time, there were scenes where you're like, oh, that's Spider-Man.
Mhm.
You know, like
Yeah.
I could clearly see that Spider-Man. Like when he's like, Miles, you're not ready for this, and he's like, you know, and he like he like ties him up in the chair and everything. And then when they're in the little spider cave,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and they're all like beating Miles up and being like, "What are you gonna do, Miles? How you gonna?"
Yeah.
And they're like stressing him out like a stress test almost.
Shock me, pussy. Yeah, like
Yeah,
a lot of that.
yeah. And then Schlub is like, "Hey guys, like chill out, calm the fuck down."
Mhm.
And
He
like,
can't do it on command.
yeah, right.
He
and
did. He had the most heart to me. He just did. He did. He had his he had like the worst background, but he also had like the biggest heart from it, and I loved that part too. Because that's what I think of when I think of Spider-Man. Is like
That's how I
Failed
view it.
marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
That-
right.
that-
no, not failed.
No, and I mean
just
like
that's who Spider-Man is to me.
right,
um,
a lot of heart, but
yeah.
a lot of tragedy too. Like he
Mhm.
can't get out of his own way sometimes.
Yeah.
And I really think that was a very insightful, like I don't know how to put it, like
You got
a
it.
good direction for his character from like what we expect from Spider-Man. Because I mean, it makes sense. He's married to MJ, but he's out there being Spider-Man. That's gonna put a strain on a relationship, and I really enjoyed that they didn't, shy away from
He
that.
can't have kids, man. He's got shit to do.
Yeah, and I mean, like I don't even know if he might be sterile. I mean, he's got radiation in him from
Actually,
a spider bite.
Okay. If we get some time, there's a story about his spider.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a weird story about
I
that.
feel like we've
but-
talked about this.
Have we?
We might have.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But there's a lot of weird, like
Sterility
stories
rules?
Of, no, it's one story
One
that's
shot?
really messed up. But if we're talking about favorite version of Spider-Man,
Oh, are you talking about the Wolverine story? Is that
What?
the fucked up story you're talking about?
no, I'm talking
Okay,
about
I'm sorry,
where
I'm thinking about something else.
Spider-Man semen kills MJ.
Right. Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, because he's radioactive.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
all
Okay.
the times they've been doing it, she gets cancer and dies.
We have talked
We
about
have
this.
talked about
Oh my
this before.
gosh.
Yeah.
Comics is weird.
It is strange.
But I like Sweatpants Parker a lot. I like his dynamic with MJ and with Miles, but I think my favorite has to be Miles.
Okay.
I mean, it is his story, and not that that matters, but I really like the dynamic with him and his uncle, the Prowler. Yeah, Prowler, and
Prowler,
then
Uncle Aaron.
him and his father, and just how Miles came to fit in, like not only to himself, but he found a calling.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I just really like shit like that hero's journey type stuff. I love
Oh,
that
yeah.
shit.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think it's always interesting watching like whenever there's a Spider-Man movie, like watching his body adapt to like this weird shit
Mhm.
that's happening to it, like freaking puberty.
He got taller because his pants didn't fit.
Yeah, I guess I
That's
didn't make
weird
that
that he did
connection.
get taller.
I guess I didn't make that connection because like I saw that like his pants went up farther, but I
Uh-huh.
was just like, I don't know what they're
He
trying
got
to tell
spider
me.
legs.
He
had spider legs.
Spider legs. Yeah, but I like Miles a lot. I think he's my introduction to Miles was actually in Spider-Man PS4. Like
I knew him before then.
I
He's
knew
a fairly new character. Him and Spider-Gwen are very new to the comic book stuff. I think they're like 2015 maybe, which is very recent for them to already be in shit.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean I knew of them
Mhm.
and like I knew who Miles was. I knew he was supposed to take over the mantle when Spider-Man dies or whatever, but I didn't know like anything about his character, and then when I played Spider-Man PS4, I was like, wow, this kid's pretty cool, and I like his little dynamic with that Peter, and then I like him even more with Spider-Verse, which actually feeds into another question I have later, but
You're so good at this.
thank you. Thank you. I'm really good at this. I'm getting so
I'm really
good.
trying.
But yeah, so I think Schlubby and Miles are our favorites, and their relationship is clearly the key component of the
Mhm.
movie.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's what makes it work so well. Not to mention, I don't know how they did the voice acting, but it felt really natural. Like
Yep.
it felt like
Mhm.
they were in the room together, just bouncing off each other.
Yeah.
But yeah. So next question I got for Mark,
Oh God, here we go.
and this feeds
What's up?
quite well into what you just said, and can maybe go into a little bit more about why Miles is your favorite. Was this Miles a good portrayal of the source material? Like, how familiar are you with Miles in the comic books? Like, do you think this is a good Miles, for lack of a better way to put it?
Huh.
Or do you think this is a different Miles from what you're used to in the comics?
As far as comic Miles go, I don't know a whole lot. Like I haven't read any Miles comics, but I know the general story of it. it's the same thing, except in comics, Peter. Remember how Green Goblin in this one is a big dragon thing?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, Peter was killed by that instead of Kingpin breaking his ribs or some shit.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Just crushed him.
But yeah, so he's killed by that. Miles, there is no time travel like shenanigans in the comics. I think Miles knew of Peter beforehand,
Right.
like a very short time, and Peter had maybe like a month or so to like train him, and then he dies. So Miles has to pick the shit up mostly on his own.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if giving him a team of Spider-Men takes away from his character. You know, the fact that he has to do it by himself.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, he could. I mean, in a way, because I mean, he's not. I mean, it's pretty crazy that he was able to figure it out in the comics by himself, and then in this movie he's got 5 seasoned
they didn't
Spider-Man.
really teach him. They kind of like yelled at him and hit him a lot.
Yeah, and
Figure it out, pussy. Why can't you turn invisible?
I think that Sweatpants Parker definitely taught him without realizing
more
it.
than the other ones did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
him and Spider-Gwen definitely were the two.
Noir was just like, you know how to tussle yet, boy? That's it. That's all he did.
That was the extent of his, and that also makes me wonder, like, what was the point in some of the Spider-Man? Because, like, I mean,
My smile just plummeted. Like, what'd you say, man?
and I know that, like, I know this was the whole point of the movie. It was the gimmick of the movie, and I'm down with that. But, like, at the same time, if the point of these, you either gotta do two things with a character. One of them is pretty shit, but some people still do it. It's where you take a character and you just make them relevant insofar as how much they are relevant to the main character. So, like, for example, a character whose sole purpose is to train the protagonist and then die, and which is what incites the hero to become the hero he will become by the end of the story. That's a kind of a shitty thing to do for a character, in my opinion.
Jensen, Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
In the
Okay.
cave?
Yeah. I was trying to figure out who Jensen was, but yeah, you're right.
Thank you.
But the Echoes of Jensen
Echoes of
is
Jensen.
very, very underappreciated.
What is that?
What I mean by that is, like,
Oh, like what he did for...
yeah, what, like,
Okay.
it began Tony Stark, the character we know.
Just this dude in Cape Town started to get his head out of his ass.
Yeah,
and
like,
figure it
stop
out.
being a little bitch.
Yeah,
And
do
stop
some
being a
shit.
little shit.
Echoes of Jensen.
Yeah, Echoes of Jensen. I'm coining that trademark.
Good.
But yeah, so that's one way you can do it. Or you can have a character in there who also helps the protagonist, but is also their own full-fledged character. See Slubby Parker. I want to put Spider-Gwen in there too, but
She gets less, but she's still more of a character.
yeah,
than the
she's
other
more
ones
of a
are.
character than the other three. And that makes sense for the the story they're going for in the comics, which is Miles has to learn from Spider-Man how to be Spider-Man, and that's fine. But that makes me wonder, like, what is the point of having Spider-Ham, Spider-Noir, and Penny Parker?
You got to sell them toys, dog.
You guys sell them toys, dog. And I guess that's just my biggest complaint with it all, is because while I enjoyed them, I don't know why they were there a lot of the time. Because they weren't there for the shitty reason, which is just to serve as a, to serve Miles, for lack of a better word. But they also weren't their own full-fledged characters, really, because I didn't know shit about Spider-Man.
They didn't really serve
Noir.
the plot, really, if you think about it.
No, like, they were there because, I mean, we opened a bunch of rifts and we need a bunch of Spider-Man in here, which is fine.
That's fair.
That's what you wanted to do for the movie, but I keep hearing doors close. But yeah, so we just keep going back to that. So you think Miles is pretty accurate?
I think it's
for
pretty good. I really want to see where they go with this universe.
Yeah, because
I
clearly going to make
don't
more.
know, but Spider-Man looks like he's the only hero in this world that they established.
I didn't even think about that.
Because there's no other reference to anybody else that's helping.
Yeah, and it's the way, especially at the beginning, which is a scene I want to talk about, because the first, little bit of the movie is actually one of my favorite parts of the movie, with Chris Pine's Spider-Man, which is very underrated.
He's blonde.
He's blonde.
I
I'm like
like it.
I'm kind of perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Slubby Parker's beaten up and nasty looking.
yeah, he's like kind of perfect.
Kind of hot. Is that Chris Pine? Oh, God.
But yeah, so what the hell was I saying?
Some about the opening scene?
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I don't remember where I was fucking going with
Damn
that.
it.
I'm sorry. I got a fucking massive headache, but
Oh, no.
so anyway, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to edit all this out, like this whole me trying to
Having a
gather my
stroke.
thoughts. Yeah.
Don't keep it in. It's the part. These are the parts that I love. Just like just the scramble bit.
The scrambled bit.
I love it.
Okay.
Hannah, I have this portion in my notes. It says for Hannah,
Oh.
arrow, which is where I was going to put a question, but I don't have a question.
Oh, that's so fucked up.
But I've just thought of one
Okay.
because when we were talking, you seemed to imply that you didn't know much about Spider-Man.
Mm-mm.
So, and I don't either. Like in terms of extended universe stuff.
Mhm.
So I thought this would be an interesting discussion for you and I.
Rookies. Sorry.
For us to talk about.
Sorry.
Do you think that this was a good introduction to who Spider-Man is?
Yes.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I think Spider-Man, every time I see him, or what I see him as, is he is he's a superhero, but like in the realist form, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
He's very realistic, is like there is always some sort of struggle in Spider-Man movies, and it's not
It's
like
not always like a villain punching him.
yes, it's not, it's not always
Gotta pay my taxes.
oh my god, my planet's about to blow up, or I have this giant purple thing coming at me yes, Spider-Man was in, I get it, Infinity War, whatever.
Yeah, I know what you
But
mean.
like he
I was like Galactus.
I meant
Sorry.
well, I mean,
but-
I think what you're getting at, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the point you're getting at, I think, is that like Spider-Man is like, oh, I gotta go, stop this proton collider from shattering the universe, but I
Mhm.
also, how am I gonna pay my rent this week? Like-
he's very, you see both sides. You see the human, I guess I just sound ridiculous, but you
No,
see,
you don't. I definitely
you
understand what
see,
you mean.
Like, he's just the most realistic superhero, I think, to me. He's awkward. He shows the struggle. He owns the struggle. And we literally saw really only 3 Spider-Man. I think that they that they focused on in the movie, but you see it. Miles is openly struggling and has no clue what to do, but it's not just his powers. He doesn't know who to tell or who to talk to, and I think that happens with people now. You don't know if you're struggling with something, who to talk to or whatever. And then of course you have Sweatpants Parker, who his entire life has gone down the drain, and he feels like a complete failure, and it's not.
And he is.
Yeah, and he is, but
At this point in the story, yeah.
and it's not because he wasn't a good Spider-Man when he needed to be, and he also wasn't a good husband and person when he needed to be.
Yeah.
And I like that. And it seems like almost every Spider-Man movie, that's what you see. It's not just like I'm like Thor, I don't have a hammer anymore. What am I gonna do? Like,
Yeah, that's kind of boring to me. I understand.
yeah. And to see that, it makes it feel a lot more real and like, oh, okay, I can actually relate to this in a certain way.
I would agree, and that's more of a testament to how good Spider-Man is as a character. What?
Sorry.
We do?
Nothing.
It's a
talk
very
about it
long-winded
later,
answer,
sorry.
but
No, I think that's good. I mean, that's I'll ask the question. But yeah, I think that's what makes Spider-Man such a good character in general, is that he's just a kid,
Mhm.
like with a lot of Stan Lee had a comment about this, about what made Spider-Man special, and I can't remember. Do you know what I'm talking
I
about?
think I know what you're talking
He's-
about. I don't
he-
exactly.
He's basically saying like Spider-Man is like he's just a kid, and like he has to like grow up through the mask almost and become something greater, whereas for a lot of superheroes the mask is who they really are. But with Spider-Man, it's like, no, he's Peter Parker, but like he just also is Spider-Man, which I think is what's interesting, because he's he does a lot of good, and this kind of explored in the PS4 Spider-Man. He does a lot of good out of the mask, like with science and stuff like that. Like, he's a smart guy, and I actually don't know how smart Schlubby Spider-Man is. Like, I don't know if he's
he doesn't look like he's a
science guy.
He says he has a major in something.
Yeah. And
When
like
he's
the
walking
way
up the building, he says he has a major in something smart. I don't remember what it is. But he doesn't seem like the type who would go to college at all.
he actually seems more like a college type than
That's fair.
any other
Yeah.
Peter Parker I've ever seen.
But not like a science college.
Yeah, I know
type.
what you mean.
Like
Like
he goes for like an art degree just to fuck around.
And like I think in the way he's looking at Doc Ock's computer, and he like memorizes the password.
I mean,
and it's like that long.
But you're like a hero. You kind of have to.
Yeah,
like
and, like, I
the way that he
understand.
knew like all the tropes that the supervillains did. Like he knew
Mhm.
when they're gonna like do something stupid or walk in the door. He's like that's gonna happen. He's gonna say some shit. I got
Just
it.
say
I've
you
been in
have
the gig for
24
a while.
hours.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because he's probably, honestly, this story's probably already happened in his universe in a
probably
way.
has.
Yeah.
Almost
like
exactly.
And like some, it'd be funny if,
What's
well,
that?
not funny, but kind of tragic and fucked up. But like, if in Schlubby Parker's universe, if he had a Miles, but in that universe it was flipped, so Miles
gets
got
murdered.
killed. Yeah. So he's done this,
Oh,
but like Miles
no.
has died, and it's like he's like I don't even give a fuck anymore. But like, I always think about that kind of interesting parallel universe stuff. I don't have any evidence for it, but.
I think Miles is the only Miles. It's weird because he's in the Ultimate.
Yeah, he's
universe.
Ultimate
Comics
Spider-Man.
is weird. Ultimate Universe is super fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
It's super gross. It's bad. It's a bad time. Ultimate Universe is bad.
But yeah, as a newbie to Spider-Man, like my knowledge of Spider-Man goes from the Raimi movies and the games, a lot of the games, not all of them, and Spider-Verse and the Tom Holland Spider-Man. I guess
Mhm.
that's about it. But
Yeah.
and I think it's a great, like, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's a fine introduction. You can jump in.
Yeah.
I don't see a problem with it.
Will you be a little confused? Maybe, but that's
Yeah,
everything.
because
now.
you'll be like, why are all these Spider-Men here? And then you'll realize, oh, it's because parallel universes. And you're like, oh, parallel universes exist in Spider-Man. Well, yeah, but I mean that's comic book. That's
Yeah,
not really
comic
just Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a good introduction, and it was very user friendly, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Because I was at no point was I like
I don't get it.
I don't know who is MJ in relation to this so and so. Like they do a good job. Like she's my wife, and
I like the scene where they go to that party and
And she
she's
asked for
yeah, she's
bread.
talking about bread. And he's talking about like the family and the being a husband. She's like,
Yes.
it's just bread. It's fine. It's like, no, I wasn't there for you. She's like, are you okay?
I need to get you the bread. This is great.
good.
Which is very timely with this whole like I'm gonna get this bread.
I'm gonna get this
meme.
bread.
Yeah,
He's ready to get his bread for
I'm gonna
MJ.
eat this bread right in front of you. Eat this bread.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
If they do make a sequel, though, I know Hannah doesn't know any extra versions of Spider-Man, but Kyle, do you know like a little bit more in terms of?
I know who
other
2099
versions?
is.
Okay, I want him in the sequel.
It looks like he's gonna.
He's
be.
in the post-credit scene going to the '60s version of Spider-Man, which is pretty
Mm.
funny.
Oh my gosh.
Stop
that was
pointing at me!
so
You're
funny.
pointing
Yeah.
at me. That's a great scene.
Hey,
That was funny.
hey, you!
You're doing it right now.
Yeah, that was funny.
That
I
was
want
great.
him. He's voiced by Oscar Isaacs.
Really?
Yep.
No kidding.
Swear this movie has a lot of weird voice actors.
That's cool.
It
I
is
love
cool.
Oscar Isaac.
He's great.
What's 2099's name? Like his real name?
Miguel O'Hara.
Oh, so no Parker or
No.
anything in there.
He's just a dude who happens to be Spider-Man.
Okay.
I think you know who Booster Gold is. He's DC,
No, I
not
don't.
Marvel. Basically, his deal. He's just a kid in the future. He's like superheroes are pretty cool back then. I'm gonna steal some tech and go be like my own hero. That's basically Spider-Man 2099. He's like, hey,
So
back
he doesn't
then-
have this.
I'm
Was
not
he
sure
bit?
if he has powers. Okay, because his thing in the future, Spider-Man is regarded as the most successful, like best superhero of all time.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so he's like, Spider-Man's pretty cool. I'll be my own Spider-Man. I don't know if he's bit by a spider. I don't think so.
That's interesting. I wonder why we hold Spider-Man in such reverence.
It's
like,
weird,
because
right?
it's like even people who don't really care for superheroes
know
are like,
who Spider-Man
but
is.
yeah, but it's like I like Spider-Man though.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's
Mhm.
cool.
because he's just relatable. He's a dude trying to be a dude. You know,
He's a dude being a dude with some other dudes. Yeah, I definitely know what you
Tropic
mean.
Thunder.
And I think it's kind of what Hannah was talking about. How he's
Mhm.
just
This guy.
he's got his superhero problems, and then he's got his I gotta pick up the pizza on the way home.
My damn door won't close.
Yeah.
The lock doesn't work.
When will you pay rent? You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door.
Why is he from Arkansas?
I don't know. It's my frame of reference. I put all superheroes in like the Missouri, Arkansas area. You were my brother, Anakin. Anyway, but that leads to my next question.
God,
This is for me and Mark, kind of because this has to do with the Spider-Man PS4. The question is, having played the game
What's up?
and seen the
Howdy.
Spider-Verse,
Yeah.
why is it that it seems like animated Spider-Man, like animated spider properties,
Mm-hmm.
get Spider-Man more than live action? Like, why can't they get it? Why does it seem like the live action adaptations are kind of floundering, and the animations are just killing it every
Maybe
time?
because the live action ones have an agenda that the animation ones don't.
Okay,
Because all the live action ones have been part of or trying to set up
Marvel.
something else. You know, like
Yeah.
the Amazing Spider-Man one, they wanted to do their own Sony universe, which was never gonna fucking happen.
Yeah, no.
And the MCU one, not saying they're bad, but they do have certain things, certain beats they have to hit to set up, you know, different properties or relate back to certain things. They have to do certain things. But like the game and the animated stuff can do basically whatever they want. And not have to worry about past projects or future projects. They can just go and worry about this one story right now.
Mm-hmm. I think it's also got a lot to do. And Hannah, you're free to jump. I only put it for me and Mark because we've played the game, but like
No,
you're
it's
free
fine.
to
It's
free to
fine.
jump in at any point and spit some knowledge. But I think, and I forgot what I was gonna fucking say. This is a bad day, guys.
Speak for yourself, partner.
Oh, right, okay. But the Spider-Man PS4, the thing about it is it seems like they're setting up for a series of games as well, for like a sort of Marvel gaming universe. So maybe it's the Iron Man 1 effect where it's like it's the first one, so it can feel like a complete story while also setting up and not having to, sort of fight on two fronts of what has happened before and what is going to happen next, and like set up for explain things that have happened and then explain things that are going to happen in the movie. So I thought that might have something to do with it. I don't know.
Maybe.
Hannah, what do you think?
I think it just has to do with what Mark was saying, that
Game.
literally every single Marvel movie has to link all back up together, and so there's only so much freedom or I guess creative freedom that they can have. And so with this, it's like this is the first one. We can kind of have fun with it and experiment, and I also think
The
that
sky's the limit at this point.
Yeah,
With
and-
Marvel, it's kind of like the sky's the limit, but we got to go this way to get there,
yeah, definitely.
You can only go from this cloud to that cloud. Don't you fucking look at that cloud.
This is Super Mario.
Yeah.
You got to jump on that cloud.
Not that one.
Not that one.
See, it's a trap. It's a lie. It's not even
Yeah,
there.
yeah. That's
It's
just
not even there.
that's just the background.
You can tell because it flickers a bit.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fake.
yeah.
It's a trap.
Get good at platforming.
No gold for you. Anyway.
No, but okay, like I'm not. Fuck. I'm sorry. I'm having a bad time, guys. I think it's because I haven't eaten today.
Well, dude, what the fuck? Why does nobody want to eat it? Sorry.
I'm really hungry.
Nobody eats. It's so confusing.
I
You're
feel
gonna
you.
die.
I feel you. I'm gonna get a fucking shit ton of food on the
Hell
way home.
yeah.
But yeah, so I think that this is kind of fed into the conversation I was having with Mark over Snapchat was when we saw the Far From Home trailer, and we
Mhm.
were going to talk about that, but we completely just glossed over it. My bad.
How much time do we have?
We're at an hour and 12.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, so
can still
I
do it.
figure we can go on hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. We'll just see where we're at.
Yeah.
We'll just see where we're at.
We'll see how the wheels turn.
We'll see how the wind turns.
Wheels! You motherfucker.
Like, see
We'll,
how the
we'll
wind
see where the
turns.
wagon takes us.
We'll see where the wagon takes us.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, I was talking to Mark about this, where the problem with Marvel in general, my big issue with it is that they want to tell serious stories,
Oh yeah, here we go.
but they're caught between they want to tell serious stories, they want to be real artists, but they're a business first and foremost.
Mhm.
Marvel is a property, Marvel is a brand, right? And the issue with that is that, okay, we're going to do something really cool with Infinity War, and we're going to take out Spider-Man. Whoa, you didn't see that coming. That's pretty cool, right? Yeah, I'm really excited to see where you guys take this.
By the way, here's a trailer. He's alive.
here's a trailer for Far From Home. By the way, they're making at least two. We're making like 15 more Spider-Man movies. All with Peter Parker. Things like that. And I'm like, it just really takes me out of it because I know people are saying, and I was the same way. I was like, there's no way they're gonna leave him dead, especially Black Panther with how successful Black Panther 1 was.
Mhm.
There's no way they're gonna not have Black Panther 2,
Mm-hmm.
and that made sense to me. But at the same time, seeing it, it was gross. I didn't like it.
It was gross.
I was like, this is just, as someone who appreciates really good writing, and that's kind of nondescript. Everyone likes good writing, I'm sure, but I appreciate a good singular story. I don't need, Red Dead's kind of like this. I don't think we're going to get Red Dead 3, and that's fine. They told their story. I think it's good where it's at. Leave it alone. Make something else. And I'm kind of like that, where it's like, I'd much rather have a singular, this is the story, beginning, middle, end. Because, in my opinion, I've talked about this on the podcast before, I'm sure, is that every good story has an ending.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Like, it must end. You know what I mean? Marvel must end for me to consider it a good story. That's not the only thing it needs, but that's like a pillar, in my opinion. So I much prefer that kind of thing. But with Marvel, it's like they're insistent on just giving us more. And I can understand from, like, people who really enjoy these movies, like Mark, I know you really love them, and Tristan really likes them. And Hannah, how do you feel about them? Are you?
No, I actually do really love Marvel
You do?
movies, yeah.
So, you guys, you really love, all these movies you're getting, and, I can respect that for sure. But for someone like me who's a little bit more of an outsider kind of looking in and, just watching the ones that really interest me, like I didn't even see Ant-Man and Wasp, I didn't see Black Panther, I didn't see a bunch of these Marvel movies, but I saw Infinity War because I was like, okay, it's kind of been building to this. I feel like I need to watch this. Like I saw the original Avengers however many years ago it was, 2012, I think.
Oh, that was forever ago.
Yeah, God, 7 years ago. I remember seeing that in the theaters with my best friend at the time. Yeah, it was crazy. But, I just, for me, it's hard for me to get excited about anything Marvel because I know, like, the minute I'm like, ooh, that's an interesting little you just announced another one, It was, to a lesser extent, it happened with Black Panthers because when Black Panther was coming out, like that weekend they released the Infinity War trailer, and then I saw Black Panther in the Infinity War trailer. I was like, oh, so he makes it through Black Panther, I guess. Not that I had any doubt, but, like, come on, like carrot and stick me a little bit, Like, don't just be like, okay, this is what's happening, So expect Black Panther in a few months. But that's my big issue with Marvel in general, and I just think there's too much. I think we're inundated with superhero properties, and that's our fault because we go out and we pay for them and we see them, So they're going to keep making them if we keep paying to see them. But I think it's the same thing with Star Wars. I've talked about this before. They released too many. They blew their load too quick. They need to they need to reel it back in. And it seems like that's what they're doing with Star Wars. I think Marvel needs to kind of do the same thing. But
oh yeah,
how do you guys?
Especially if they're gonna make it last, because they're gonna give us all these movies, and then at some point they're gonna have to stop. And I don't think, whenever they do stop, that it's going to be on a good note because they just because. It's just, I love them a lot, but it is like, oh, wow, okay, well, I guess Spider-Man makes it out. Oh, wait, Spider-Man's not even out, and there's another trailer for another Marvel? Like, it's like they're constantly just throwing them out, like, every which way.
It's a case of, I think, that Marvel they're not going to be able to stop on their own terms. The market's going to stop them.
True.
And then that's going to lead to a lot of bad will and things like that. They're going to be like, okay, we're sick of this. Stop. And Marvel's not going to be able to go out on the note they want to, with because they have very talented people working there for sure. But
they're not going to leave with the final bow that they are all hoping for, probably. And
we're going to be at like Thor 14 and like we're going to be
Chris
like
Hemsworth is like 90 years old.
Don't kid yourself. He's going to be dead. He's going to be dead. Not
You think so?
Chris Hemsworth, Thor.
Don't say
That's
that.
interesting.
I love Thor.
My only argument with that is that Thor's rose in so much popularity recently.
He has.
That I just don't know like how they could get away with it. Like they can get away with killing Cap.
They can
and Iron Man.
bring in Horse Thor. Beta Ray Bill, who's just a horse.
Is that a thing?
Yes.
What?
Is his mane made of lightning?
He it's like a weird alien species. He looks like a horse who takes over for Thor for a little bit.
That's kind of
Wow.
cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Does he
That is-
talk or does he just?
He does talk.
Neigh?
No, he talks. He talks like a dude. He talks. It's wicked.
I like
Speaking of him, actually, I know you guys don't keep your ear to the ground with this comic book stuff as much as I do, but the Disney is planning their own streaming service like Netflix, and they're gonna put a lot of like Marvel shows on there.
that. That's the theory as
exclusive to
why.
them.
Yeah.
I know confirmed we have a Loki show.
With Tom
Is
Hiddleston.
it with
Yes.
Tom? Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, he got his freaking neck broke.
Apparently,
Yeah,
it's gonna
I
be
don't-
him like narrating over his life, like before, like his childhood
Oh.
and all of his like
All right.
Okay.
I can
adventures.
get down with that.
And
Maybe.
then the Winter Soldier and Falcon are getting their own show.
That's a
Which
good
I,
one.
I think they're good together.
They're-
I like
they,
that
they
a
got
lot.
a good dynamic.
Mm-hmm. And then
I don't know how much I care about them as characters, but
that's
they
fair.
got a good
Yeah, yeah.
dynamic.
And then
Yeah.
Sif, do you remember Sif from the Thor movie? She was the only girl of that group.
The one in the black.
She's in like red-ish.
Oh, I don't
so
know.
Thor had his 3 friends,
Oh,
and then
oh,
she
yeah,
was the
yeah.
one girl who could
Mhm.
fight. She's getting her own show.
Of
And
course she
in
is.
it,
Everyone's getting their own
in
show.
that
Everybody.
show, a side character is Beta Ray Bill, the horse Thor.
Oh, yes, bro.
This is all like supposed. Nothing is extremely confirmed, but that's gonna be super sick because those shows are in canon with the MCU.
Mhm.
Right.
So that means he's
So we could have a horse on the big screen.
I want a horse Thor.
You know the last time that happened?
Brokeback Mountain.
Secretariat.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
What was that one? Seabiscuit.
War Horse.
War horse.
War Horse.
There's also Brokeback Mountain, too.
Are there any horses in Brokeback Mountain? I haven't seen.
Yeah, it's a
Isn't
cowboy
isn't it
movie.
all just dicks?
No, they're just kind of in the background.
What? It's a gay love story. Don't
Yeah,
look
it
at me
is.
like that, Hannah.
It's actually based off a book, too.
Is it really?
Yep, little thin little pamphlet
What's it called?
book.
Brokeback novel.
It's called. It's called Broke My Back Mountain.
Oh my gosh.
Ew.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I feel like there's an innuendo
Okay.
somewhere in the fact
Yeah.
that it's called Brokeback Mountain.
Probably. Hey, just for a second. I don't want to go too off track, but you saw me like getting like excited over here for a little.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
a
was
little
on
bit.
Instagram, and just for a second, and they are
Mhm.
releasing a console. Finally, a console Power Ranger fighting game.
Oh, really?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, Mark, that's what you wanted to talk about.
Look, you want to piss off? Okay.
Can you imagine all the different? Okay, honestly, I've seen some of his like screensavers and stuff. The way there's a lot of Power Rangers
There's
that
a
look
lot.
really cool,
Some of them are pretty cool.
and like there's like some in there with like capes, and there's some in there with like just all kinds of like little like spikes on them. Like
Some of them
they
are pretty cool.
I was with you. I was very skeptical about Power Rangers, but like
It's a skeptical
Like
look.
the
It's
only
dumb.
knowledge I
It's
have of
dumb.
it is from my little brother watching it when he was young. Like that is it.
I get it. It's a dumb show about these stupid kids in spandex fighting monsters. But the designs are really good. I don't know why I'm going on Power. I just want to talk about a fucking game. But
character design is really cool,
character design is
Really?
really good.
and character design is very
Some
important.
of the seasons are actually like really good in terms of like story development and like character depth. It's actually pretty good for a quote unquote kid show.
Right.
But this game is actually based on like a phone game that we have, which is like everything is kind of doing the like Into the Spider-Verse thing.
Where they're just bringing everything.
Yeah,
in.
because like the morphing grid, which is bullshit. It's how they get their
yeah,
suit
you
powers.
you explained
yeah,
this to me.
It breaks, and all the Rangers are in like each other's worlds or whatever. So it's that. So all seasons can come in and like
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's that, but on console, and it looks really good.
It seems to me that
April,
April.
gang,
cool.
it's $20.
It seems to me that a lot of like popular literature and like franchises and stuff are banking on this like Deadpool type thing where it's like cool to break the fourth wall and to like
Mhm.
acknowledge what the audience knows. So like the audience knows all these different versions of these characters exist. So why we keep up the why keep up the charade? Like why not just throw them all into one thing? And I feel like that's really taking a lot of franchises by storm, as we can clearly see. And it's just a cool way to like, if you have a fighting game, it's a cool way to get everybody in the game
uh-huh.
without just
involved.
but like, I feel like I think I just spit. I feel like we'll get to a point where it's just like there will be no more pretense.
Mm.
Like they'll just be like, okay, everyone's in it because we wanted everybody in it.
That's fair.
You know, like at a point, that's where we're gonna get to.
I
But
sure hope so.
right now, we're still at a point where we feel we need to explain things that happen in a story
Which is fine.
a little bit anyway.
Okay, it's fine. I'm so excited for that. It's gonna be super sick.
I bet it will.
Yeah, you're not gonna hear from me for like 2 months after that game's out.
I can imagine.
What are you doing, Mark? Shut the fuck up, Kyle. I'm busy.
Honestly, when there's this company called Yacht Club, and they're a little indie dev company, and they make these 8-bit platformer games. I love 8-bit platformers, man, like Mario and
Castlevania.
Castlevania. Oh, dude, Castlevania.
Haven't watched it yet. I
Fuck me.
know you told me to watch it, but I didn't watch
It's bonkers, and I hate anime. but
Really?
I'm not a big
it
anime
yet. You
fan.
racist motherfucker! No.
I love. I see. I discovered this because I watched Akira, which I want to do an episode about that too
Haven't seen
eventually, because, and I'll lend you the movie if you want to
Cool,
watch it.
sick.
We can talk about it. Akira's this like 80s animated movie, and I was like, wow, I love animated movies. I just hate animated TV because I'm like, I'm not gonna watch 100 seasons of Naruto
Yeah.
just because episode 797
Is a good one.
Is a good one, and it's not happening. There's not enough time in the day. So anyway, what I was that the end of that thought? Did I have another follow-up thought?
Did you, Doug?
I don't
know
know.
what you're thinking.
I don't
to be
know,
fair.
Kyle.
Jeez, something's
Not in your
happening.
head.
Watch Voltron. It's looks like anime, but it's by American people, like writers and shit.
Yeah.
It's really good. Voltron's really, really good.
I think that was my point. Was Castlevania the
Castlevania, the
Netflix
Netflix
series?
series?
Yeah, it's the only like anime show I've watched. And been like, oh,
Mhm.
this is good. I like this.
Death Note's pretty good. It's very short too
That's
for
what I've
anime.
heard. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
But like animated movies, I can get down with. Like Spirited Away, I need to watch still, which I
Mhm.
hear is really good. Akira was fantastic. Just
Cowboy Bebop a show or a movie?
it's a show and a movie.
Really
Yeah, they released a couple seasons, then they had a movie to wrap it up.
nice.
I think it was like a Firefly type thing where they
Okay.
like, I don't know. I think they just finished up the story with the movie.
Fair.
But anyway, so my next question for you guys, and this is for everybody, and we already kind of engaged in this topic a little bit, but do you think they tried to do too much with this movie?
No.
No,
No.
Mark?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Well-
Do I have any thoughts on that? No. Give me a second.
Go ahead, Hannah.
Of course it's on me now.
I want to go first.
I think that was talking about Jake Johnson. So I think they did and they didn't. I think yes, at times there was a little too much happening, or I loved how the movie looked and how much it literally was just like a comic book just like brought to life, and that was really cool to
Yep.
me.
Mm-hmm.
Like super cool, but there was times I was like, oh hey, that's messing with my eyes, like that's a little
agree.
much.
There was one scene in particular, which, and I don't mean to cut you off, but the scene where Peter's tied up to the punching bag and
Mhm.
he's spinning, and I'm getting nauseous talking about it. And he's like spinning, and the camera's following his eyes with it. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god, dude! Like I had to look away. Like I was like this. It was only a couple seconds, but it
Mhm.
made me really nauseous, and I
Yeah.
don't know why. But the final fight didn't really, because I know how colorful. Like there were like
Mhm.
warnings for the epilepsy in the theater
Yeah,
that we went
there
to.
was.
But that didn't bother me too much. But was there any scene in particular that like kind of bugged you with your like your eyes or something?
There was just like there was one scene where they were I think it might have been when he knocked out Sweatpants Parker and was like swinging around all crazy and stuff.
Mhm.
I think that was like the one
It's a great
part where I
scene.
was like,
yeah, cool scene.
whoa, okay.
Yeah, slow down. Yeah, I definitely understand. Mine was a
but-
lot more mellow, but it really, woo, I don't know, just something about the spinning.
But it was, I think it was very cool, and they took a very cool step in a very awesome direction, I think, to me.
It was a very neat style.
Yeah, it was just overall, I thought it was very cool. I loved it a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, I think almost with any Marvel movie, sometimes you're like, oh, okay, that was a little
Yeah.
much in certain areas, but
Yeah, we could have cut that, maybe tightened that up a little bit.
yeah,
Maybe focus on this a bit more.
yeah.
What do you think, Mark?
I take my answer back. I think it was pretty good. Wait, what was the question again? If
The
they did
question
too
was,
much,
yeah, do you think
I
they
think
did
they
too
did
much?
just. I think they did just enough.
Okay.
They could have made this movie for like 20 different Spider people. Bring in like
True.
the superior Spider-Man, the Spider-Man who actually has like 6 arms. You could just fucking load it with dumb shit. Like no, let's have a core team of 6. Let's
Like the Sinister
at least
Six.
attempt, which they do have, at least attempt to flesh out or give some of these characters, most of them, like some like semblance of traits or an arc. Let's give them something.
Yeah.
And the story was pretty straightforward. Nothing too crazy. Rift open, spider come out, must close rift again. You know, it's very
Mhm.
simple and nothing too complicated. I think it was pretty good in terms of how straightforward, how coherent and compact it was.
Right. I think, what?
Off air. Off air. Off air.
Two favorite men.
Stop. Off air, Kyle. Off air.
All right. All righty.
That's having a hard time.
So,
The only man I talk about on air is Jake Johnson.
gang.
I love him so much.
Here we
He's
go.
All right, I'm done. All right, I'm
He
sorry.
did a great job. I don't.
He
He
did.
did such a good job.
But he's also really good at playing. the
slob.
slob.
Yeah, the
So-
fucking schlocky
so-
sweatpants dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when he was like announced, and people were like, "Wow, that's a cool pick right there. I like that."
He is, to me, he's a very underrated actor.
Yeah, I
I
think
really do think
I think
that-
Dog V's about to come in here. I'm just saying.
And then
Yeah,
I
I-
got to Nick Cage. I was like, now we're talking.
Yeah, when I saw it was with Nick Cage,
I was like,
like,
wait.
yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. I love Nick
I
Cage.
didn't know. Jake Johnson was the only
He just left his
character,
room.
like voice character, that I knew that was gonna.
I knew Haley Steinfeld.
Oh
most-
yeah, she was. Yeah,
I
I knew
actually
that
didn't
one
know
too.
about her.
Well, she was in
She was in
Bumblebee,
but
and
I
then
still didn't know about her.
well, like me and Mark saw the Bumblebee movie before. Is it a picture?
Just
Off air,
off
off air.
air, off air.
Abort mission.
We saw the Bumblebee movie like 2 weeks
2 weeks
before
before
Spider Verse.
No,
came
2
out?
weeks before Bumblebee was even supposed to be out.
Right. Well, Spider Verse was supposed to come out first.
Didn't they come out the same day? Christmas, right?
No, Spider Verse came out on Christmas, and then the Bee movie came out like Bee. Bumblebee came out the week after.
Yeah.
So,
I saw that movie 3 times.
oh god, I don't know how you did that
'Cause I love it.
We're gonna talk about that next week.
We
Oh
are
my
gonna talk about it
gosh,
next
when
week.
he told me, because I love Dylan O'Brien, and when he told me that Dylan O'Brien voices Bumblebee for like
She
2.5
lost her
seconds,
shit.
I freaked out. I was like,
Do you remember
yes.
the opening scene of Bumblebee? That great opening scene.
Yeah.
She watched that
I watched
like a
it.
cam version just to hear him talk. I'm like, you sack of shit. You ruined that for
he
yourself.
He was like, just listen. I was like, no, I'm
I
watching
didn't
it. I
show
have
it
to
her.
watch it.
I turned it away from her and just so she could hear
I
the
did. I
sounds
got a
and him
little
talk.
excited. I got a
and,
little
and then she
excited.
watched it by herself. I'm like, you're gonna ruin it for yourself.
I did. I couldn't even tell you what was happening. I was just purely like.
well, believe it or not, that's probably the coolest part of the movie. It's the first like 2 minutes.
Oh God.
It's pretty lit. Yeah, he tenderized himself pretty intensely.
I don't
next
like
to
that you
him.
did that. I hate when you do your weird sound effects thing. It freaks me
Oh,
out.
it's great that I just heard that and I didn't say it.
But yeah, as far as doing too much, I don't think the movie did too much. See, like I spent the whole podcast saying I think it did too
The
much.
opposite. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of some of the Spider-Men were kind of useless as far as like
Penny Parker.
Penny
Shut
Parker,
your mouth.
Spider-Ham, and these
Spider-Ham was. I felt like he. I'm so sorry for cutting.
No,
you
go
off.
ahead.
I feel like he was a lot more of like just for comedy.
Comic relief
Yeah.
for sure. He didn't have a story at
Oh,
all. Like,
yeah,
I
no.
don't know anything about Spider-Ham.
Yeah, I know nothing. I was just like, oh, that's hilarious, and then like that was pretty much my thoughts on Spider-Ham.
I will say the one detail I did like about Spider-Ham was that his nose was the spider symbol.
Yes, that
which
was
I thought was
so,
really neat.
Yeah, I
thought
did
that,
like that. Yeah.
That was cool. Good little touch there.
Do you know that he was a spider who was bitten by a pig? You know that's his
Are
story.
you serious?
I swear to God, he's a spider who was bitten by a pig, and he.
What's the world? Is it like a world of
It's-
animals?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's
Looney
hilarious.
Tune style world. Yeah.
So then, like, he goes around saving animals.
Yeah, because they're all.
Oh my
Like
gosh,
that.
that's hilarious.
Peter Porker.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, when he saw Peter Porker and his hand was wet.
Why was his
Oh.
hand all wet?
I-
Is
I
that
I
ever
didn't. I thought.
explained?
No, I think
just
he
w-
pretty much was just
I
like.
just washed my hands. No other reason.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
yeah.
sure.
Yeah. That was so funny. They're just like good little parts. I mean, the movie overall, yes, was very good, but I did love a lot of like the little parts that like you can quote. My favorite line of the whole movie was anyone can be behind the mask. I loved that.
Anyone can be Spider-Man.
I loved that.
And that's what Spider-Man is in general. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of what the theme of like the moral of it is anybody can be a hero.
Mhm.
And
Yeah. I loved that.
I really liked it. Yeah.
and
it's
it did
weird
just-
that he's a spider, but his last name is Porker. Sorry, I just sorry.
Maybe he
Oh,
changed
God.
it. You know,
was
he like
I was-
legally changed his name to
You're
like
right, you're
match
right.
it.
How dare I?
That's what I'm thinking.
He was like, I gotta be involved. I can't just not be involved. All right. Anyways, whatever.
But no, there like I enjoyed it overall. There was one major annoyance that I want to get into. I specifically wrote these down.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it's only one thing in particular that really pissed me off about the
Mhm.
movie was the freaking soundtrack. I
You didn't like it?
hated
What?
it.
Uncultured.
It was-
Oh.
It was bad.
No.
I disliked it so,
Kyle.
and I wrote down the specific songs that really annoyed me.
Oh no.
So the first one that annoyed me, and this is like the key example I always tell people when like they're like, "Oh, you didn't like the music?" This is the example I'm talking about. The scene where Spider-Man, the blonde one, is like, they're like, "Oh, Spider-Man's dead," and they're all like, "Oh, what?" And they're all like looking at their phones and stuff. And this fucking song called "Scared of the Dark" by XXXTentacion, Lil Wayne, and Ty Dolla $ign is just, I just hear this like a wailing, like, oh, you know, like I'm disgusted because I'm like, I'm really like engaged in this moment.
Yeah.
And then I just hear this horrible song just like blaring in my ear. I hate it. I hated it. And then there was the song when Miles is in his room and he's like drawing the graffiti in his notebook and he like has the headphones on. He's like,
Sunflower?
Gosh,
Yeah,
that's
sun-
one of the best
Dude.
songs on the soundtrack.
Sunflower by Post Malone
Yeah.
and
Oh, gosh,
Sway
Kyle.
Lee or whatever his
I
name
don't
is.
like his part, but I love Posty's part. I just call
I
him Posty,
see.
but-
I just wanted Miles to sing the whole song. Like I didn't even want to hear like the fact that I had to hear Post Malone at all really upset
Oh
me.
wow.
Wow.
You not like Post?
You don't like Post Malone?
I like there are ones I do like. I will admit like Zach and Codeine. I think it's actually pretty
Oh,
cool.
that is that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good song.
I actually like that song.
I thought you
I'm
said
so-
Zach and
I
Cody. I'm
literally
like, what
one
did
of
you
the
say?
one of the first things I told Mark, besides Jake Johnson, of the movie, I was like, oh my gosh, I love the soundtrack. So
Yeah, I was
that
the
is,
exact opposite.
and everyone that I saw it with loved the soundtrack too.
I will say this: there was one song in particular I was a massive fan of, and that was "What's Up, Danger" when he like jumps off the
Yeah,
building with the
yeah.
black suit on.
Mhm.
That was cool. That was
That
good
was-
use of
yeah.
that song. And if you're wondering, that's by Black Way and Black Caviar.
Jesus.
And I wrote "was cool," I guess.
I can respect that.
I enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed that part, but like there, I wasn't feeling it. It really took me out of moments. It took me out of those like emotional moments. I know. I know. I'm an old man. Okay. Like I'm not a big fan of like a lot of modern hip hop. So
Mhm.
like I like hip hop a lot. But
Who's
like,
this Post Malone?
Post Malone.
But that was actually my major hang up on the movie. It only got worse the second time I saw it because at least with the first one, like I couldn't like the first time I saw it, I was like, I hate this, but I can't like think of specific reasons why I hate it, so I'm not
Mhm.
gonna complain about it too much. But then like I saw it again, I was like, oh yeah, that's what
That's
it was.
why.
That's
Mhm.
Got you. Okay.
ugh, hated it. Anyway,
Ooh, I have a question.
go ahead.
Who was it's kind of on the whole who is your favorite Spider-Man, but who did the best voice acting to you?
I think they all killed it. I don't know.
Nicolas Cage.
I would have. I think it's. I don't know, cause like
I need these. Hold on.
on the one hand, you handicapped yourself. You played yourself.
Idiot.
On the one hand, I love Nick Cage because it was just fucking hilarious. But on the other hand, and this might surprise you, might not. Chris Pine, I thought did a great job because he was given
he was so good.
he was given 5 minutes to make me give a shit about the Spider-Man and be like, oh cool, he's gonna teach Miles. Okay, this is the Spider because I thought that was the Jake Johnson Spider-Man.
Mhm.
I thought that's who was
I
in the
was
movie.
so mad when he first. I was like, "This is not Jake Johnson," and I was
Right.
like, and I did, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I know that voice. Who is that?" And then I was like, "Oh my god, it's Chris Pine."
I didn't even
And yeah.
recognize it like watching it, but then I went back. I was like, "Oh, that's Chris Pine." Wow.
He put in more legwork than any other person. In terms of, he sang a whole Christmas album as Spider-Man.
Oh yeah,
in
he
character.
did. He did. I forgot about that.
Can you
Oh
buy
my
that?
God.
Yes, it's on.
You could buy
it's
it?
on Spotify. You don't have to buy it. You can go. Well, it's
Oh
not
find
right
that.
now.
my
I'm definitely gonna
gosh,
find
that's
The whole Christmas
hilarious.
Spider-Man album, which
I
is
love
weird.
that.
Oh, at the end in the credits when it started playing.
He just has this
Oh.
breakdown toward the end of the song. So great.
But yeah, Chris Pine, he was given like no time at all, and he had to establish 1, who is Spider-Man, 2, who is this Spider-Man, 3, why should you give a shit? Because I'm gonna die in like a minute, and 4, I gotta make you care. Like by my death has to affect you because it affects all the other characters a lot, and it affected me too, except for that fucking song.
Here we go.
And God. Anyway, but yeah, he might have been my favorite just simply because of what he was able to accomplish with no time at all.
That is very true. I didn't think about that. He did. He had that short little window, and he was able to get your emotions pretty quickly. And that's a good actor to me. If they're
Yeah.
like they're given that short window, but you care, you're like, he's like, I've done
Dylan
my job.
O'Brien and Bumblebee.
Yep.
Yeah, he did a good job
He
too.
did.
Speaking of quality voice actors,
Peter
But-
Cullen, Optimus Prime. Sorry, I'll stop.
but
You just say Peter Collin?
Peter Cullen. Peter
Cullen.
Cullen is the name of the
Oh.
guy who plays Optimus,
Optimus.
Prime.
I
there's
know,
more to
I
you
was
than
just-
meets the eye.
Oh, I am like that, Mark.
But yeah, other than
Oh my gosh!
Here we
Speaking
go.
of the name Mark, today we found out
Jake
that
Johnson
Jake
isn't
Johnson's,
Jake Johnson's
name is
name.
Mark Jake Johnson Weinberger.
His first
That
name
is
Mark.
his full name.
Jake Johnson is his middle names.
that's funny. Where's he from?
Oh fuck, Chicago?
Is he like Hispanic or something?
No, he's
No,
he's,
no, no.
he's so white.
I
Yeah,
don't know,
he's
just
super
because
white.
just because I know they usually have the double.
Yeah.
The double.
Yeah, but then,
I'll look
but
it
then they
up.
have 3 names. He has 4 names.
He's 4.
Brown
like-
people don't even fuck with that.
Like
That's
he
crazy.
was just like drop. He was like drop the first and the last, and you've got my stage name. Cause
Stage name.
Well, Jake Johnson, you know the alliteration and everything.
Yeah, I guess
so
it's
true.
I'm sure.
Yeah, because Mark Johnson doesn't have the same ring to it.
no,
or-
definitely not.
or
As a
Jake
Mark-
Weinberger.
I feel like
Yeah.
Mark Weinberger has a better ring than Jake Johnson did.
That's-
It really
respectfully.
does.
that
Thank
almost
you.
that almost is too close to like Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, but
But you
Mark,
hate Mark
Yeah,
Wahlberg.
because he's a fuckwit and can't act. Sorry, here we go.
That's not true. But
Yes,
anyways,
it fucking is.
anyways,
Have you
anyways!
seen Transformers 4 and 5?
Oh my god.
He's good in
Anyways.
some things.
No, he's oh, just in those.
in some things, like The
Like
Departed.
what?
The Departed.
Oh
Haven't
my
seen it,
gosh,
haven't
I
seen it.
love. You've never seen Departed?
The Departed is an excellent movie.
Oh my
it's got
gosh,
Leonardo
it's so
DiCaprio.
He's
Yeah.
good in Daddy's Home.
Oh my god.
They've got
Haven't seen it.
They've got basically every actor who sounds like they're from Boston in that movie. Like
Yes.
Mark
Transformers?
Wahlberg,
Oh, The Departed.
Matt
Departed.
Damon,
'Cause
Jack
it's
Nicholson.
About, yeah, it's about like literally Irish mobs,
Hell
and
yeah.
so in
Is
Boston.
Ben
so.
Affleck in that?
Yes.
he
No.
really?
No, he's
No,
not.
No,
Should have
just kidding.
been.
No.
I should have. You wanted to complete the Boston Trinity. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Should've.
That's actually
If
a
you
good movie.
wanted
Watch it, Mark.
if you wanted a full
Super white,
bingo.
Watch it.
Nice.
Anyways.
What are you looking up?
Oh,
Jake Johnson's
Jake Johnson's
ethnicity.
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 I wanted to ask you guys about a couple of like the major set pieces in the movie.
What's up?
Okay.
Like the first one I want to talk about is Doc Ock's or Liz, whatever they
We can
call her.
Doc Ock.
Doc
still.
Ock, whatever. I
I
don't-
like this version of Doc Ock a lot.
She's cool. She's very creepy,
Mhm.
and I still prefer Alfred Molina.
I prefer the Spider-Man game.
Oh shit.
Whoa.
Nice.
Scared me.
We're
I
deaf.
thought I touched something.
That's so loud.
Okay, we're still going.
We're gonna
Sorry.
cut that bit. You're gonna cut that.
Yeah.
You hear me, fucker?
First, I'm gonna go home and eat a fucking cheeseburger.
Eat anything.
I'm gonna
Jesus
eat like
I'm
Christ.
so hungry.
30. Like
You need to eat too.
Yeah, I'm really hungry.
I'm like fading.
I've been fading all day long.
Speaking
Like,
of fading.
have you ever hold on, Mark?
Sorry.
What is that
No,
supposed
no, no,
to
no, no, no,
be?
that's not what I meant. Just Kyle.
Oh my
What's
God.
up?
Hannah,
Yes.
maybe you can relate to. Do you ever
Okay.
get like so hungry that like you're like it feels like you have a fever almost?
What the
Yes.
fuck?
Yes.
like
I have.
like
yes.
you feel like hot but also cold.
Mm-hmm.
That's-
Yeah.
I feel that right now.
Have you ever gotten so hungry that you shake?
That's
Yes.
Death. That's death, you guys.
We're dying.
That's-
Being hot and
5
cold
minutes away
is
from death.
before death.
Hey, man, maybe I'm gonna die.
Yeah, maybe today's the day.
No, I was talking about
Can't come quick
fading.
enough.
Because
Oh, Kyle.
what did you just
Don't
say?
get so sad. Oh, we've lost Kyle.
He's gone.
And podcast is mine now. All right,
All right,
so
anyway,
Spider-Man.
no, wait, I was talking about fading because I had a lab today at 9 o'clock. It was supposed to last until 12. That's about a 3-hour class, right?
Oh yeah.
I
he
talked to
slept on the
Danielle
ground.
about this.
Really?
Yeah,
It
Who's
didn't.
Danielle?
I met Danielle.
Who's
the
Danielle?
blonde.
Oh God. Off air.
That's hilarious.
God, I need to
No,
keep a
it's
note of
fine.
this.
Yeah. But it didn't
Phone.
last that long.
D.
Okay,
We'll
it
just
didn't.
call it D.
It didn't. It didn't.
This
it
is
didn't
actually
last
very
that
relevant
long.
to me.
It didn't last that long, and my astronomy class was immediately after, like 12:40. So it's like 10 something, and I have to wait. So I eat breakfast. I eat, and I come back, and Hannah's sitting upstairs in the UC, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm so tired. I put my green jacket on the floor, and I fall asleep.
And he was snoring.
And she didn't wake me up.
That's funny. Oh my god. I keep saying that. Like, the problem is my classes this semester are like back to back to back. Like I don't have any breaks. But
mine
but,
too was like boom, boom. But then I'm home. It's
but then I'm
nothing.
done. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like from 9 to 12 I'm in class, but then it's like I'm out
Yeah.
every day pretty
Right.
much. Which is fine with me. I actually prefer it that way. But yeah. So But yeah, so the Doc Ock's fight in the forest and everything, I thought that was a great scene. Really enjoyed
I
it.
did like that. That was really cool.
It was. I like how they animated her like arms going everywhere, and
Yeah.
like how they like.
It's weird. Her arms are like
They're very erratic.
almost like surgical like instruments in
Yeah.
terms of like sterile and like it's like a
They're, like,
balloon you fill with air.
They're tubes.
It's weird. I
They-
like
Yeah,
it. I
they
dig it a
are.
lot.
It
Mhm.
reminds me a lot of a. I need to get closer to this. It reminds me a lot of a like a triage
leech
type
worm?
thing. Well, yeah, I guess that too.
It's like a
but,
big
like,
old.
You
it looks
guys
like a
went
big
two
old
different-
tapeworm she got on her back. Yeah.
What I mean by like triage and like quarantine type like tubes and
Yeah,
stuff.
okay, yeah,
That's what it
okay.
kind of reminded me
I
of, and it
understand.
really. I was like, oh god, that's kind of creepy.
She's gross.
Oh, she got a lot of
She's
hair on her head.
gross.
She got a lot of. Why do they call her Liv? But yeah, I love that scene. I love how he is getting the bagel.
Yeah, he's all, I'm gonna get the bagel. You
Hold this.
hold
It-
this.
Good news is we
When
don't
he-
need this.
When he throws the bagel and hits the guy's head, it says, "What does it say? Bonk or like bagel?" When
Yeah.
Yeah, it says, like,
Oh, I
doink.
loved,
Yeah.
I loved that when they had like just like I just loved how it literally was like just like a 3D comic book. Like it was
Blink and you miss it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it
you,
was.
you
It was
go back
so
and
cool.
watch it
I
and
loved
see it
it.
again.
Because I've never read comics. I do think they're very cool. I've never read them, but I did like the little, I guess, inner nerd me or whatever came out. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I agree. The next scene I want to talk about is I mean, let's just talk about the final fight. Like, I don't know how you can get away from the movie without talking about that. Like, what a achievement in animation.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like how
for
cool and like all the details and like how creative it was.
That was insane.
And like I ultimately mean from the point where Miles gets his suit up to like the end of the movie
Mhm.
is like that whole segment, like when he's falling down the building and like that's beautiful. Like the shots
Oh,
they did and
yeah,
the
that
color,
was amazing.
it was beautiful. And then the final fight was just madness, but it was beautiful madness. You
Mhm.
know, so
Yeah, that was a lot too.
mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, again, just a blink and you miss moment. But it was just like I think I said it earlier. They knocked down all the walls for animation. They were like, yeah, no, we're gonna take this to a new level, and it was like 15 new levels, but
Yeah,
it was
and
really cool.
I think we're kind of in an age now where animation is like, I don't want to say sterile because it's not sterile, but like it's definitely less personal, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
because back in the 30s when they were making Disney movies, they had to draw it, you know, with a pencil, and then they had to paint it, and then they had to put it under a camera and like layer it and like film it. That's how they did it, you know, frame by frame. And because of that, they could squeeze in all these details, and you know, they were gorgeous movies. Like go watch Hercules, you know, in movies like that, and you know, just marvel at the animation quality. Go watch Akira and marvel at the animation and things like that, or Cinderella.
Hercules is so good.
Hercules
I
is
love
fucking
Hercules.
awesome.
So good, man.
I
Love
love
Hercules.
We should do one on Hercules.
You should do like a Disney podcast.
We really should.
Episode.
Hades,
I would freaking be on that
Yeah.
quick.
that would be a fun one. But Hades and Hercules, oh my god, dude,
Oh.
so fun. Who voices him?
Hades?
Yeah,
I don't know.
isn't it like Billy Crystal or something?
No, it's not.
Billy
Some-
Crystal's Mike Wazowski.
Is he really?
Is he-
Yes, you didn't know that?
I think I
Wait.
didn't.
Yeah.
No, you're
love-
right. Like
you
I'm
know
pretty.
what upsets me? I Google Hercules cast and it's the one with the fucking rock.
Oh.
How dare you, Google?
Oh, screw you, Google. Never using you again. Just kidding. I love
I'm
you,
gonna use
Google.
DuckDuckGo.
James Woods is Hades.
Who's
James?
Who's-
Where do I know that name from?
I've heard that name before somewhere.
James Woods is. Hold on. Nothing I know of. Nothing I know of. It's in Family Guy. I don't know what that means.
You
Who's
don't know what
James
that
Woods?
means.
Look, shut up. I don't know like who he is. Who is he?
That's
I don't know. But yeah, it's
hilarious.
James
I-
Woods.
I-
It's ju-
I-
I'm not aware.
But anyway, yeah. Back to Spider-Verse. Yeah, the point is, it's just I love seeing animation be taken to a new level because it just shocks me that like
that they're able to do that. stuff.
yeah, and also the fact that like they were able to do it and it still felt really personal. It felt
Yeah.
a lot of it felt hand drawn, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of it was, but like. I don't like being able to tell that it was done on a computer, and I know
Mhm.
that might make me sound elitist and like, well, you don't know what you're fucking talking about, and that's true. But just I can tell when something's computer generated and when it's
Oh yeah.
drawn,
Of
you know,
course.
and I just prefer the latter at all
Yeah.
times. But
And it is because it seems like almost every movie has some sort of computerized.
element to
Yeah,
it.
it just is, and so. For some reason, Spider-Verse just felt different to me. It didn't feel like, oh, it's 2019, so yeah, of course they're going to use something fake and, you know, or whatever. But yes, the entire movie was animated, but it just felt different to me. I liked it.
You know what's like something interesting is like sometimes I wish they would just, because I know they make storyboards and I know they
Mhm.
draw those. Sometimes I wish they would just take the storyboard, like the frames from the storyboard, clean them up a little bit, put a little bit more pencil detail, and just film that. Like, you don't color it. Like you don't have to color it, but like just take what the storyboard looks like and just make that the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And like do it like that, like draw every frame. And I don't know. I always thought that would be kind of neat. I actually had an idea to do that for when I was storyboarding for our Jackson Alley Film Festival movie, which we need to get on that, Mark.
When does that due?
I don't know.
Who cares?
Yesterday?
Um,
Kidding. I'm kidding.
we need to come up with a storyline. I think we're still doing the astronaut one, but I need to fucking write it because I started to write it and I was like, what am I doing? And then, anyway,
We're fine. Everything's fine.
but so I took those like note cards that I'd like drawn like different like camera angles I wanted to do and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, I could just like literally like just put this like film that
Mhm.
and then like do audio over it of like the voices and stuff and just switch as the scenes go through and
Yeah.
make like a little not stop motion, but like a slideshow movie almost.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought that'd be kind of neat. I still might do that if I ever get my head out of my ass. But anyway, so I guess we can talk about one more scene. This is a good one. Uncle Aaron's death.
Oh fuck.
That was rough, man.
It
That
was.
was pretty. I thought it was kind of funny how like Miles, Uncle Aaron, Uncle Ben, AB, and then Uncle Charlie is gonna be the third one at some point. They ever make a third one? What the fuck is going on?
Off air.
He's writing it down.
I actually didn't really like Uncle Aaron's
Really?
character.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of felt like he almost knew that it was Miles for some, I don't know. I had just had a weird feeling about him the whole movie. So I wasn't too shocked when he turned out, that he
Was Prowler?
I mean,
Yeah,
I
whenever he was
I
working with
knew from
Kingpin
the
and stuff.
beginning.
But I mean, it's what is it, PG, so it's not, kids are seeing this. It's supposed to be good for
He's not
them,
gonna
or whatever.
murk him. You
Yeah,
know?
Yeah,
Like,
saying that, Spider-Man does get his ribs shattered by Kingpin in the first 5 minutes of this
Oh,
movie.
I was like,
that was brutal.
I was
man.
like, I flinched. I'm like, oh god.
yeah,
yeah, I literally.
because it's so sudden.
And the
Mhm.
ground beneath him cracks. You know how hard you have to get hit to do that to happen?
that was
It's-
intense.
You got to get kingpinned.
And that's the episode. That's the episode title, Getting Kingpinned.
Get
Oh my
kingpinned.
gosh! Please no.
That's what it
Please,
is.
No.
I was like, I was kind of fishing for a title throughout this, and that's the best one.
Get Kingpin.
Okay, if you guys were able to use Hannah's crazy eyes, I at least get a say in the fact that it shouldn't be called Get Kingpin.
Why not?
Why don't you
What's
like
wrong
it?
with Get
Because it
Kingpin?
doesn't-
It's not sexual, you dork. It just sounds fun.
Just I don't like it. I don't approve of it.
Okay, so tell
But
me
whatever.
one.
But
tell me one
whatever.
that you like.
It's not like I have one at the top
then,
of my head.
then
but
why would even? Okay.
whatever.
Your
I'm
opinion-
just still salty that you guys called it Hannah's crazy eyes, but it's fine.
Okay. To be
Look.
fair, I called it that, so to leave Kyle alone, it was my decision.
You're a valued member of this podcast at this
Aw,
point, so you
Kyle,
definitely
thank you.
have a say in
Yeah,
what goes
Mark.
on.
Oh, it's very little, but it's still a say.
You get like a little opinion. We're not gonna listen to
yeah,
it,
but we're gonna,
but
entertain
you can
it.
say it.
We're
Everybody
entertain it.
gets to share their thoughts, and they're all considered. They go to our
As long as
board.
they're not wrong.
They're the board of directors. And I have ultimate veto power.
Oh
No,
my
I'm
gosh.
playing. We run a
A tight ship. Here.
communist regime here.
Anyway.
See, I was gonna say something, and then I realized it's probably not gonna be a good idea if I say that. Anyway.
That's why I didn't say it. I did it, and no one
yeah,
can see it but us.
because this is an
Ah,
audio
medium
format.
of it,
Anyway,
okay.
So
What-
anyway,
what time do we have to be out of here?
I don't know.
I don't know,
I'm
'cause
thinking.
it's 4:30.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we should shut it down pretty quick here. But ultimate last thoughts on the movie, Hannah? Go
It was
for
amazing. I loved it.
Okay.
And yeah, it's great. I love Jake Johnson. You did great. Cool.
He did do good. Mark,
Great, loved it. Definitely deserve its 90% on Rotten
Yes,
Tomatoes.
definitely did.
Nick Cage
97%.
killed it. Steinfeld killed it. Jake Johnson murked
Killed it.
Liev Schreiber as Kingpin killed
Excellent.
it. Really, really good.
Excellent.
Great all around. I loved it.
10 out of 10.
It was pretty good.
Cal's like subpar.
It was good. It was very good. It did not change my life like I was led to believe it would.
Wow. Changed my life. Sexual awakening.
I thought the soundtrack was annoying. Certain parts of it. But I did enjoy it. I enjoyed. I saw a new Peter Parker that I didn't realize I wanted to see on the big screen, and I'm really happy about that. I love Miles. Love Miles. Can't wait to see Oscar Isaac as 2099. I'm really excited about that. I can't wait to see more memes at the end credits. I love Liev Schreiber as Kingpin and Jake Johnson. You killed it, my guy.
It was
That's my
kind of
mom
weird.
calling.
Liev Schreiber, the way he talks sometimes.
Yeah.
'Cause I saw like him do stuff in the booth, and he'd get like really close up to the mic. He'd be like,
Like really close up to the mic.
"You want to see some Spider-Man?" I was like, "No, I don't. No, I don't." Kind of weird.
Oh. You're a lot, Mark.
What's
but
up?
Whatever.
Huh?
big.
You say I'm a lot?
Yeah, you're a lot to deal with.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, shut up.
You shut up.
You shut up.
Okay, guys. Well,
What are we talking about next week?
next week.
Well, we didn't get time to get in the Far From Home trailer, so we're gonna start with that next week.
All right, that's fair.
The old rigmarole of trailer breakdowns.
Next week.
Bumblebee question mark?
Sure.
Because
Bumblebee.
every week we pass is a window that we miss because it's been out for so long.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do it. Yeah, that's fine.
I mean,
We
it
can do
doesn't have to be the whole episode.
It probably won't be as long as Spider-Verse because I just simply don't have as much to say about the Bumblebee movie. I just don't. I know you do, which I'm happy to give you an outlet, but
Thank you, man.
that's just
That's fair. Yeah.
I just don't have
We'll
as much to
find-
say
we'll
about it. It's a
find
good
something.
movie.
We'll find
It's
something.
a good movie, but I like John Cena quite a bit.
I love Optimus Prime.
This has been Egg in a Bottle,
Yeah, it is.
episode 11.
Get Kingpinned.
Get Kingpinned,
Of course, it's called Get Kingpin.
pending on
No,
that
it's not-
title.
It's not pending. Don't you give her that fucking option. It's not pending.
Thank you very much for joining us today.
Appreciate it.
I hope you gathered something out of this, and I hope you can forgive us for being so spotty. But we intend to get back on the horse, get back in the saddle, and hopefully we'll be able to work something out to where nothing like that can happen again. But thank you very much. We love you
We love you.
sexually
Emotionally.
and
Nope, I'm not gonna finish it.
consensually.